Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Hey there, Lumina. Alright. Alright, well I still gotta play to get back up to Kira. Still in first level? No, this is my New Game Plus file. Oh my god, this is awful. How did it not crash a file drop? As far as I can tell, that's only on PS5, and I'm playing on PS4, so... Hey Quartz. Kicking myself not watching the others. I've kinda gone, I kinda like this game a little bit. At least a bit more than I used to. I've kinda come around to it a little bit. It's not good, but I kinda like it. In some very specific ways. Heretical, I know. I'm getting my ass kicked. Deserve for liking this game? Jeez. Look, I would explain myself, but I don't feel like it right now. Oh, okay, bye Lumina. Like, again, this isn't a good game, but I kinda like it. Revoking my Jak fanbase pass? Good. I don't want to be associated with those weirdos. You know this game has a more busted beam reflexer than Jak 3? I wouldn't, as I've never played it. Oh, if you haven't even played this game, Jesus. See, I didn't know that till recently. I've been like going for 100% on this stream, which I've never done before, and it led to me like getting a fuck ton of like gun upgrades and plane upgrades. So this has been like the best playthrough I've ever had of this game, of which I have played like a lot of, because like it hasn't been so fucking agonizingly frustrating, because I've just been so overpowered. This port is also fucking arse. Like, they just cannot get the Jak games right. It's so bad. Ugh. Consider I only cared about the precursors, and since they made them British, I consider it to be simply bad. They didn't make the precursors British. What are you talking about? The voiceover in the precursor facility is British? I don't remember that. I know the precursor, like, idol statues that you talk to in the overworld to do minigames for are not British, so... Ergo, the precursors, at least a segment of them were British. Okay, you know what, fair enough. Whatever. If that's true, I don't remember. Is he down my... Yes, I am doubting. You haven't played this game. Colorado. Ugh. But I've watched someone play the whole thing plus all the cutscenes. Whatever. This mission is a pain in the ass. I don't like this whole first third of the game. I think it's really boring. The rest of the game has some like what's the word? It's got the rest of the game has things I like. This whole first third is incredibly dull. On like every front. Like the gameplay is really boring and rote. The story is really ugh. Oh, this game sucks. Hey, at least there's checkpoints.
Jack, you gotta take out those turrets before we can land. Any more hits and this thing's gonna fall apart right from under us.
Hey there, Matthew. How we doing? It's so ridiculous that the PS4 runs worse than the PSP. Ugh. Okay. Have I been? Incredibly stressed. It's been very busy with school.
Jack, take out the turrets.
Shut up.
Nice work, Jack. Only 2 turrets left.
think he's proven himself more than determined.
Cool. Quartz. I don't know how long you're going to stick around for, but planning on checking out a lot of Jak 2 concept art. I've been kind of going over it the past couple of days, and I kind of have a lot to say, so that might be of interest to you.
Well,
Come see me when you have Dark Eco, so I can practice my Sage Eco skills.
the captain told me to let you use our hangar. You'll be able to fit your plane with any mods you found.
Can join in, like in voice chat. I mean, maybe. I kind of I was looking at it all with Deity the other day, and we were kind of talking about it. I kind of just wanted to relay that on stream. Okay, I need to fucking trophy. Okay, there we go. Fuck me, because I did it for the green eco and I didn't get the trophy. Okay, whatever.
Come back anytime and I'll convert your Dark Eco into color design.
One more trophy to get. I was worried that it was like not gonna pop unless I like fill all 4
Use that console to outfit your ships and
stats, but
mods. I'll even sell you some mods if you've got scrap
Alright.
metal to trade. You'll get no discount from me, though.
considering I'm now jobless and mega homeless. Oh damn, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Is it being played on a modern console? If PlayStation 4 is modern, then yes. Alright, now go back.
These crucible rockets ain't too quick, but boy do they pack a punch.
I was initially going for 100% with this playthrough. Like, you don't need 100% it for the platinum, but it was like preparing for this stream, I'm just like, I don't want to play this anymore. I can't be fucked. I haven't played a single Jak game. I feel like an outcast. I mean, that's curious. I wonder why you're here then. Most of my videos, Jak. I mean, I'm happy to have you either way. Why does this only have one gun? Wow, this sucks. Back to the ship we go. My voice is a lot softer now. Is it? I don't know. I haven't been speaking much today, so and this should give me the platinum. There we go. There we go. Cool. Sweet. Alright, now we can play Jak 2. Okay. Let's move everything along. One second. All right, just gonna fiddle with some. spinning it before I enjoy your long rants on game topics, Klonoa, and your favorite games. Oh yeah, cool. It was you. We were debating about the album format, wasn't it? Pretty sure it was. Let's see, desktop audio. That is very loud on my end. What's that one? Okay, this should be good. Now I wanted to talk about Jak 2's concept art, but I do want to play the game a little bit. And I was in the middle of this playthrough to get 100% on hero mode. So sure, but debating sounds more hostile than just discussing. I mean, yeah, I suppose. But no, I thought it was you. Well, I'm glad to have you either way. Having people here who aren't simply just Jak fans is pretty cool, because I love Jak. I think about it a lot, but it's like it's not the only thing I think about. I own a PS4, so I might buy this game on the PS Store or emulate it on PSP emulator. Haven't decided what to do yet. If you care about trophies, I guess buy it on PlayStation Store. If not, play it on an emulator, because the new version emulates like shit on PS4 and PS5. Like so many people have been getting consistent crashes in like the second hub level. People are getting crashed there and just cannot progress on PS5. So, yeah. Something open goal. we're not getting Oh, unless Matthew was talking about Jak 2, I just assumed that they were talking about Lost Frontier. Fuck. Cool. I do own the HD version of Jak on a PS3, but only been able to play the first half hour or so. I didn't grow up with my own PS2. I was more of a Nintendo kid, but I did have a PS1, PS3. Platform was my favorite genre of games, probably, so maybe one day I should sit down and really give it my full attention. Well, yeah, these are pretty alright games. Supporting the Jak and Daxter Lost Frontier game to PS4 and PS5 didn't fix the game's bugs. Well, they didn't port it. It's the PSP version being emulated. And it's emulated poorly because Sony are useless. I agree, Sony are useless because they haven't even remade Medieval 2 yet. That deserves a remake. No, they've done good there. Remakes are fucking dumb and I hate them. Oh, no, don't do that. Really bad at pinpointing accents, but am I from Australia? Certainly am. Alright, where's my drink bottle? Do I know Square Eye Jack on YouTube? Oh yeah, he lives like down the road from me. No, I'm joking. I don't know him personally, but I know him. Did I turn off the voices? I must have. No. Yeah, I did. I don't know why. I'm gonna keep it that way. That makes sense. Not all remakes are great. You must be new here. No, I'm kind of categorically against them. I just think they're kind of anti-art. Like, there are probably like a couple examples where like it does elevate the art present in the original, or is like a cool different like interpretation or whatever. But the majority of them are fucking worthless and cynical and stupid, and I hate them. Should be championing new ideas, and if older games are like so great and people love them so much, they shouldn't be advocating for like things that replace them. I turn the... whatever. I'd love to hear examples where you think a remake is worth making. Oh man, we really... oh man. I've gone into several stream meltdowns about this topic. I don't know if I want to instigate that today. Look, I haven't played a single remake that I think was worth making. I haven't played every video game remake ever. But, oh god, the remake topic at least for 10. Look, this isn't my fault. I didn't bring it up. Look, on my second channel, I have a couple stream highlights clipped out of streams about this topic specifically. There was one discussing the Klonoa remake specifically, and then one just about remakes in general. I've since gone on multi-hour long rants on stream, even like debating with chatters, which have been interesting and fun. But I don't know. I don't think I have the energy for it today. Hey, Martian. We can leave this topic for now. I like your video about it, even if I mildly disagree. Which one in particular? Like the proper Klonoa one on my main channel? I feel like that one's pretty airtight. Did YouTube change the chat? I don't know. I can't see it from your perspective. Oh no, wait, no, they did change it, I think. I can't remember. I don't watch very many live streams. What? There was nothing there! Whatever. That probably was an invisible guard. Both, I think, but mainly the other one, not Klonoa. Oh, I see, yeah. I mean, that one I did clip together before I was had a really firm grasp on my opinion on it. I mean, I'm still kind of developing it, and oh, Matthew, do not worry about it. It's completely fine. I don't mind in the slightest. It's just very funny to me. I'm open about talking like about most things. It's just sometimes I'm just like, I've got to say to myself, okay, not today, because otherwise I will not shut up about it. Zork, the original versions, cannot be played on x64 systems. The remake essentially allows it to run on levels. No, no. Oh, don't remake. Just port or emulate. Thank you very much. That's my whole take. I'm here for the long rant, so go off, Chief. Look, it's fine. I want to talk about Jak 2's concept art because I have cool things and observations I want to talk about. Yes, porting a text-based terminal adventure. Bro, it's called a virtual machine. And if one hasn't been made for that specific computer, make one. Like, it's like, if one hasn't been made for a specific computer and it has a whole library of software and games, that problem extends to just more than just Zork. That's like a whole thing. Oh god. He's not important. Cool, there we go. Whoa. I don't know why Green Eco being able to lift things just feels kind of weird. Like, yeah, Samus can fly in one, but that kind of feels different. I mean, I never saw that as Green Eco specifically. I kind of just saw that as their powers. I don't know. It's just not like Eco has ever been very consistent with its specific functions. And it drives me crazy. So in other news, I think you'll be happy to discover, Quartz, we decided to make Jak Ma. You what? and the precursors are no longer Otzels. For example, 10 days ago, decided to... Oh, I see. I decided to play Jak and Daxter Precursor Legacy PC port game open goal mod. It's a cool port of a cool game. Yeah, exactly. So excuse me as I declared war. Bring it on. Not really. We are discussing stuff to do with Ma because I do want to approach it quite differently. And the precursors, I have so many fucking hang-ups and I have no idea what to do. Sure, but any change required. But I know. But you do not have full veto power. It's been mainly the four of us so far. Like, look, in an ideal scenario, I do want to keep them as Otzels. Like, that's a thing I really want to do. I'm just struggling really hard on how I can reconcile that with with Jak 2 existing. Mainly because there's no real reason for me to join in, to be honest. I'm the programmer lad. Well, no, because I always just assumed you've been busy. But I still value like your story and lore input. Like the programming stuff is just for later, like when we've actually like got our game plan sorted out. I'm so glad they fixed the fucking music. Wait, then again, no, they did, yeah. Blue AK being able to move things makes sense because it's the one main use gameplay wise. Being able to float seems like a Sage power, not an eco one. Yeah, that's kind of how I viewed it. I mean, like, it's also weird because like we've seen Blue Eco lift shit in Rock Village, you know. Solution Quartz, don't have a life like us. You'll be able to work on the project more, yeah. Like we've been doing it barely any lately because I've been super busy with school and Yesh wants studying for like a law degree thing, I think. I don't know, I can't remember. He's been flat out. I won't have a life soon either, thanks to homelessness. That's not a good thing, man. Dude. Can't wait for this game's hard mode. Missable orbs.png, not anymore. Thanks to OpenGoal. I feel like there was one less spider than there should have been there. Oh well. Yeah, well, I'm not playing the OG version, Martian, so... Okay, that strategy sucked. How is this guy taking damage? What? Okay, weird. That's odd. Thought it'd be funny to choose a bad game because haha April 1st. Look who's laughing now. That's funny. Hey there, Franj. I'm doing well. The only one getting fooled here is me. Yeah, exactly. Not a fan of the metalhead spiders in Jak 2 because of my arachnophobia. No, that's totally fair. Though I always found that the spiders in Spider Cave in Jak 1 way scarier than these guys. Already finished TLF? Yep. I could not be bothered going for actual 100% and just opted for the platinum. So we just did that. Fuck off. Why isn't he turning around? Stream? Cool. Whoa, we did it. Even the spiders in Daxter. I was never too scared of those ones. I don't have like, you know, extreme arachnophobia, but you know. Cool. Okay. So, is my stream good now? I think it is. Okay, I kind of wanted to talk about Jak 2's concept art because I was going over some of it the other day and I found a lot of it really interesting and I would like to share it with you. If my stream is good, I think it is, but YouTube's just maybe not. Love the numbers that appear when Jak is shooting the enemies. Yeah, it's a pretty cool feature. I wouldn't want it turned on by default. I'm glad it's like a secret, but it's a neat thing. Unrelated, there's a Terraria board game in the works. That's pretty cool. Okay, I think we're good now. Cool, okay. I am going to... This one, yes. Do that. And then, okay, cool. So, okay, I'm gonna open this up first. Okay, well, this document thing I've got here is the Art of Naughty Dog. I somehow just happened to come across this. Totally legally, by the way. But I wanted to share this one first because it has a specific image I want to share. Okay. I'm about to propose something to you all. The Jak 2 we ended up getting, as wacky and weird as it is and far out and whatever, Naughty Dog were holding themselves the fuck back. And I am willing to prove that. So this top image here, which stretches across these two images, this is an early... Wait, do I have the date for this? Oh, I do. 12th of March, 2002. Oh, wow, that's really... That's not very far from Jak 1's release. Okay. Just wanted the date, because that's interesting to me. So, this map here... You know, it seems to be like an early concept for Jak 2's world. And if we look, can I do that just for now? If we look, so we've got Haven City here with the wall, and then we've got like things outside the city, and this is what really interests me because, like, well, in the final game, right? We've got the Metalhead Nest, and we know what it all looks like from you know, from the top of the when we go over the level where you're infiltrating the Baron's palace and we're on the support beam. We know what the whole layout looks like. If we go back to the game, if I turn off the weather. Oh, let me turn nice weather on. Actually, hold on. Hold on. This, yeah, cable. So we see, like, you know, here's Haven City and there's the walls and everything. And then outside we see those spikes over there and that's the metalhead nest, right? And then we come back to this. And we see, you know, it's similar. We've got Haven City here and then a long stretch of land and then the metalhead nest. You know, that's all cool. But what's interesting is like all this stuff in between. There's like these structures in between and it's like, what are these meant to be? And okay, hold on. I don't know if I should go in depth. Okay, there's so much I want to talk about. Okay, this one here in particular looks like a specific thing, which I kind of want to bring up. Where is it? This one. It looks like this, which is the drill platform. This looks like it would have been more like an actual area that we would know the physical location of, because in the final game, we have no idea where the drill platform is. We kind of just warp to it. There's no physical location in the map that we're aware of where it is. But here it looks like, you know, we've got cars driving past it, and there's multiple of them. Because, you know, why wouldn't there be? And it looks like in this is what this one here looks like to me. Not like a huge detail. That's just like what I immediately think of. But this first image, this like early world map for Jak 2, this is what really got me like thinking like, I wonder what, you know, other early Haven City stuff would have looked like. And so we're gonna look at some of it. I don't think there's any more in this one. There's a couple. Okay, but we're gonna look at those. Can I get back to where the music is? Cool. So, these images were taken from Bob Raffe's his page, and I want to look at some of these. Some of these are really whack. Where can I put myself? Like, that's good enough. That's not what I wanted. Yeah, that's good. Kind of feels like you could be going on foot in that early image. Don't know why I get that. Yeah, no, I kind of get it, yeah. Okay, so what do I want to start with? Oh, this image here, this is from Jak 1. I don't know why this is so consistently mixed up with Jak 2 images, but that's Jak 1. Okay, I guess we'll start with this one. So one thing you'll notice about a lot of these Jak 2 concept art is there's a lot more verticality than what we get in the final game, which I think is really interesting. So here's a couple of the palace. I'm assuming because there's a few different looks for the palace in various concept art images. There's no like one consistent look to the palace until later on in the project. This is pretty close to what it looks like, but I'm going to assume this is also the palace unless it's just some other structure. And if we look, you know, there's more vertical, like here's like a canal, but there's more verticality to this. Like there's these drawbridges, which are like already elevated. And then there's like another level with like, you know, entrances and stuff. And then there's another level like with all these bridges and stuff. And it's just like, man, it's just there's so many layers. It's really cool. And then we've got the palace here. There's like a bridge here, which goes to like the base of it. This is called Rich/Poor City, which a lot of these have like different like city names. I don't think they really settled on like a name until later on. Or I kind of have a theory that maybe there was multiple cities, but I don't know that just yet. Nothing super interesting here, but what I want to look at next. Oh, what do I want to look at next? I guess the topic of verticality, these ones here. Chat's in the way. This one here. So here's like a ground level shot, and we've got, you know, bridges here, bridges there, or just archways. Again, more bridges and a lower section there. You know, you look at these, there's more verticality than what we get in Jak 2. In Jak 2, there's very little gameplay verticality. It's mostly, you know, 1 or 2 levels, you know. We'll look at that one later. And then I guess we'll look at... Okay. Okay. These images are what really got my brain going. So... let's look at this one. This is a really cool shot. Very densely populated urban area. And what do we see, right? We see 3 guys here on a bridge above these people. They seem to be in some sort of uniform with a cap and a cape. This guy seems to be blowing a horn of some sort. What's this? A flut with some guy on it. There's people like, you know, in their houses, peering out from above, going into them. There's like a ladder here for people to climb onto another level here. Another flut here. Like an animal with like a draw carriage and a guy carrying stuff. There's just so much happening here, you know? What looks to be like, you know, some sort of structure. This might be a palace support beam in the background here. Just a very densely populated alleyway, which we don't really see a lot of in Jak 2. Jak 2 is very wide and sparse, which serves the gameplay that we ended up getting, which, you know, is fine. Is that guy in the flut Jak? I don't think so. We see a few people with like a similar sort of look. I don't think any of these were meant to have like Jak in it. It was more so just to like show images of the city in like, you know, just in its day to day. This image in particular though, this one on the left. Oh, on the right, sorry. This is what really got my brain going. Okay. I just think this whole shot is just beautiful. Like really well, the composition is just so fucking cool, and like the angle and the perspective. Oh, it's so good. I love it. I love it. But what do we see here, right? What's this guy? Bro, that's a lurker with a collar and this guy holding him by a chain, carrying shit. So, you know, the lurkers are slaves in Jak 2, but we don't really get to see that. Here we're like explicitly shown it. Like this guy just owns this lurker, and this lurker is doing manual labor for him. Here's another lurker carrying stuff. I don't see anyone directly, you know, leading him. But, you know, here what looks to be like a vehicle of some sort. We see some wheels and like a roof. We see more what seems to be Crimson Guards. This guy with like the hat and the cape with like a staff. Same with right here. Another guy, maybe is Jak. I don't know. Possibly kind of looks like him a little bit. Same with this guy, I guess, though. Bridges over a canal. Ignore that. Hold on. I should probably turn on thing for... how do I turn on streamer mode? Alright, I'll just close Discord. I don't know why YouTube is shitting itself right now. I mean, not YouTube, my stream. Hey, Untitled. I missed TLF, the only good game. Oh well. What was I saying? Yeah, like, you know, bridges over a canal, more stuff going into there. You know, another like big arch overlooking everything, and like everything here is just under it. I love that. It feels so cozy and lived in and detailed. But what's this? Samos's hut, by the looks of it, just sitting there in the middle of this city, and it's like fenced off with this crumbling wall and barbed wire and spikes. I don't know why my stream is dying so much. Hold on. Oh, my internet's having a normal one again. Fuck's sake. Sorry everyone, just gonna have to bear with me. Hold on, let me Oh, I fucking hate living here. I am going to, real quick, going to do something. Are we back? Am I connected again? Still dropping mad frames. I want to fucking... Ugh. We back? Okay. It might be a bit stable now. Are we stable? No? No? Fuck. Let's, we might be stable. Okay, I've put the stream down to 720p. You know, it's not a huge deal. Don't seem like okay, we're gonna continue. Gonna bring it back. Boom. Okay. So I don't know how much of what I said was cut off, so I'm gonna go back to this. So, you know, we've got this cool like archway, but like what's this huge thing in the middle of this image? It's Samos's hut, just on this isolated little platform, but it's like fenced off with this like crumbling wall with barbed wire and spikes, and it's like, damn, why is this here? You know, it's so odd. This whole picture is so beautiful to me. I think it's a really well done, just like a really well done piece of art on its own right, not just for like concept art or whatever. I think it's really, really good. And then we've got this image here of another palace concept. Oh, that's cool. So like, it's not just like, you know, steel support cables. It's like what looks like more rope-like thing, and it like goes like loops there, and that's pretty cool actually. But this is also kind of interesting because it's like, you know, we've got like, you know, houses and shit surrounding it, but then we've got like an area where people gather and like can go in it from the base all around it. So it's like, this must be like some sort of gathering area for some purpose. Maybe it's like a, you know, maybe that's where the races could have been, like under the palace, or maybe some sort of business district in this. I'm going to turn the voices off. Fuck me. Shut up. Yeah, and then look, like we've still got more bridges, more levels, like there's some elevation, you know, and then we've got this other thing over here. Yeah, a lot of really cool stuff to look at. So these two images on the right and left, ooh, they got my brain going. They got my brain going. And then this one as well, like, oh my god, I love this so much. Like there's just this decrepit alleyway where like the ground is like got water seeping into it. This guy is like hiding. I guess this is like a guard here because of like the cape. And again, it's just like the framing here is so cool with like, you know, these arches that like frame everything. And like this one with like the barbed wire here, like this sewer grate. So I guess that's like the reason that the ground is like this. But like even still, like there's like a little bridge over it with people like bustling across and like higher. Oh my god, it's so cool! It's so cool. And then we get like another image of like the outside of the city, and it's like well, the city is walled off, but there's also a chasm between like the land and the wall. And this one here says it's called Walled City. Oh my god, this was done in January. Fuck me. Like just a month after Jak 1 launched. Crazy. Same with this one. Oh man. We'll come back to that one. And then we've got more here. This one, oh my god, these two are so good. So here's like the port, the city docks. And it's like, look at how dense and bustling this is, you know? Like, this is like a full market area. Like there's people going about like trading. Look, there's a little cat. Oh my god, you can't see. I'm so sorry. Doop. Look, there's a cat. There's a cat in the Jak games. Like there's people like, you know, going about their day doing trade and stuff. There's like these like boats with like their own little like stock and stuff on it, like people selling. And then like, you know, that's all on the ground level and like, you know, there's small bridges coming across. There's like little markets. But then like, again, elevation. And like, you know, it's a sci-fi game. So it's not just elevation with like, you know, multiple layers of like physical structures. We've also got like floating ships and stuff. And like people like can get to these areas through the air. Combination of cat and what though? Yeah, true. And like there's all these ships coming and going, you know, it's like a bustling, busy center of trade and oh, it's so cool. And it's like, again, it's all on the docks. It's like, oh, so good. And then this one here, very similar vibe. This one reminds me of like the port a little bit, I guess, because like there's the walls and like the water. This guy fishing. The water here looks like it's running dry though, which is interesting to me. Like this piece of like this area where like the water's running dry. We've got like these formations here in the water, and like this small walled off little district, I guess. We've got this guy here trying to sell his own little stuff. There's people going about. This guy fishing here. It's like, oh, it's so cool. And again, we've got stuff in the background, like larger structures in the background and ships. And again, Samos's hut. Why is this here? It's really interesting. I guess we'll show this one real quick. This one got me thinking a bit. Another one where like, you know, it's in the water. Looks to be some guards patrolling here, like some sentry turrets by the looks of it. These look like, I guess, it looks like these are like, there's multiple of these towers posted on the outer perimeters, like connected to the wall. These look like maybe watchtowers of some sort, maybe some sort of surveillance thing. I'm not really 100% sure. Again, that's Jak 1. We will look at these next. So this is a floating city. This is Ocean City, and this is Fortress City. Again, so it's like, I'm thinking maybe initially there was going to be multiple cities that you could visit, because it's like look at this one. This one's really cool. It's got like this decrepit bridge and this giant wall for like the entry and exit, with these giant precursor robots like in the water that seem to be like guarding it, you know. This one's more circular. Ocean City, so this is built on the ocean. And again, like look at all the elevation, like fuck, I keep forgetting to move. Sorry, there's this bridge here. My stream is dying again. I can't win. There's this bridge here that's all decrepit and broken. These precursor robots that are like seem to be guarding it, sort of thing. And again, and like this is a cool design because it's like a circular city. But again, like there's layers to it, and oh, it's so cool. But again, like Samos's hut seems to be here by the look of this windmill, and so maybe this isn't another city. Maybe this was an early design for Haven. Possibly, who knows? But the idea of having multiple cities, though, well, these all seem to be dated within days of each other. So who knows? This is Fortress City by the looks of it. You know, maybe similar to Haven because like it's got these jutting things out of the ground, like in those earlier Haven concepts, and a wall. This has like turrets on the top, and a ship coming in and out. This is a floating city with this giant tree and like and again, like a wall here with a guard on top and like a city underneath. Super cool. Super cool. Okay, now for the final image I want to show you. This is what it's just like got me thinking like, man, Naughty Dog were holding themselves the fuck back when it came to this game and like the scope and ambition. Like, okay, look at this shit. I'll start over here. Like, all of these images, Samos's hut is central to it. This is Future City, by the looks of it. All of them seem to be named Future City. And like, look at this, man. Like this really abstract looking, like, what is this place, you know? Like, oh man. And then this one where it's like Samos's hut is like central to this, like this area. And it's like all, oh, just like, look, it's so much more cyberpunk and so much more out there science fiction than Jak 2 ended up becoming, right? And then these ones where it's like Samos's hut is on this like fountain and there's floating gardens and like, oh man. And then this one where it's like in like a capsule thing. It's like being contained and there's like oh my god. Like, dude, this is so cool, you know? Like, I'm just so curious as to what the significance of Samos's hut was going to be in this new setting initially. But I'm so curious on the plot point of that in particular. But what all right, looking at all of this, have we looked at all of it? I think we have. Yeah. Looking at all of it has got me thinking a few things, right? So, one thing, I want to know what Samos's hut's role was going to be in all of this. Because we see it in multiple areas. I think I was just playing around with, like... I don't think these, like, multiple huts. I think it's the same one, just, like, a bunch of different concepts for, like, where it could be placed or what it could look like in a new setting sort of thing. I don't think it was going to be in literally all of these areas, right? Secondly, again, the verticality. Haven City in Jak 2, very, very flat. We, like, you know, all of the verticality of the buildings, I mean, the buildings in this game just kind of act like walls. Like the only verticality we get is these two hover zones, right? We don't really go higher than this in Jak 2's Haven City. Which is a shame. Yeah, like all the buildings in these games kind of just act like walls to funnel you through the sections, which, you know, is functional from like a gameplay perspective, and like, you know, it works, it's fine. But then, like, again, like, you look at these images and like there's just so much more going on. There's so much more verticality. Point 3. I don't get a huge vibe of like authoritarianism with these images. Obviously, like, you know, we see things like the tower and what looks to be like the guards. And obviously there's just concept art for the city. Like, you can't really like glean specific story aspects like that just from this. But like a lot of these do just feel like especially these. This is just like out there sci-fi stuff, you know. And like this as well, like these people like seem to be going about their daily lives, like in this market area, this guy just fishing, or this one, like Fortress City. This seems a bit more like a military area, but a city. Like, again, maybe there was plans to have multiple cities instead of just the one. This one gives me a bit more current Jak 2 vibes. I don't know the date on this one. I don't know how early or late in production this was. This is like the only colored one, which makes me think it's an early one because Jak 1's concept art was mostly colored and none of Jak 2's is. So, but I could be completely wrong on that. And it just makes me think of like what this game could have, like, I think the reason that we didn't get a Haven City looking like this like densely populated, this bustling, this detailed, and I hate when people use this term because I don't think many people use it correctly, but I think it is true here. I think it is down to hardware limitations. I don't think they could have rendered a city this bustling, this detailed, this like intricate on the PlayStation 2. And I think that's a shame. I don't think Naughty Dog were really able to realize their like initial ambitions. And you know, to be fair, most projects don't get to realize their initial ambitions. Oh my god, I'm losing stream again. Oh, this fucking sucks. Thanks for sticking it out with me. Okay, let's hope it stays good again. Like I was saying, like most projects, you know, you don't get to realize your initial like ambitions. Every project has like wildly big ideas, and they're all focused and brought in to like, you know, create something like, you know, polished and good. Like, you know, you hope all your projects are good, obviously. But I do think like the scope of this was like genuinely down to the hardware they were working with. I don't think the PlayStation 2 could have handled a city this detailed and dense. Yeah. So it's made me very depressed because like a city like this, where it's like, cause like I feel like, especially looking at this image with like all the ships flying around and like and everything like that, it makes me think like, well, if they wanted to still have, and this one too, if they still wanted to have like hover cars and like hover vehicles, it would have been more than just like the 2 hover zones, right? You would have been able to fly through the city and the skies and go like through the multiple like elevations of the city and everything. And it's like, damn, dude, I wish we got a game like that with Jack's mechanics. And it's just like, well, Jak 2 isn't this game. And I would love to see this game exist. So do we fully remake Jak 2 as well? It's so bad. It's so bad. Well, that's I think that's most of what I wanted to say about the concept art. I'm not sure there was many more images. I know there was a bunch here that I didn't really look at. Again, though, just looking at like this early map of Haven City and the Metalhead Nest, it just makes me feel like, you know, and again, like, you know, here's like the nest and like there's chasms between where you could walk and where it was. And other images of Haven City showed the same. And this is all like, you know, grasslands, and then as you slowly transition, it just becomes like all rock and craters, and oh, it's so cool. And like how the sky does that, that's cool. So I don't know. I wish we could have gotten something like this, where like we could go outside the city and have it be more explorable. Like, okay, maybe like the city itself is like, you know, the GTA sandbox style, but then when we leave the city, it's more like Jak 1, where it's like a big expansive lush area, or maybe not lush, but like, or just a cool area to like dick around and explore in. That would have been so cool. But I guess we'll just jump through these real quick. These are mostly like singular structures. Hey, there's crew. Oh, strip mine's really different. That's really different. That's pretty cool, actually. Pumping station's way different too. Where's this little guy? And Daxter right here. Oh, Sewers was way different. Damn. Even in the levels, it was gonna have like different elevations and and like an open sort of design. I mean, I'm not disparaging Jak 2's like actual level design. I think it's actually quite stellar, like the linear level design. What does it say? I want to pull the levers. Are we concerned what will happen when the gate opens? Cute. I love this image of Mars Tomb with all the skulls and oh, it's so cool. A lot of these are quite late into production. These are all October 2002. Well, not late, but like a lot later than the other ones we were looking at. City Port. Some pelicans. That would have been cool to see. Oh, again, like look at this, man. Like the boats and the people and the markets at the port. Oh, so cool. And like the warehouses and the shipping containers. Oh, and again, the drill platform. Would have been cool to actually know where this is. And here's the other images we've been looking at. But in shittier quality. Cool, okay. I think that's about all I wanted to say about the concept art. So, I guess we'll reboot this in not debug mode. Cool. Thanks for sitting through that, everyone. That was a lot of fun. I'm sorry I didn't get to read chat as I was going through, so I'll catch up now. Did you know Jak 2 was going to have a similar dark fantasy theme similar to Vex, but it was changed? I don't know about that. What I've heard is that initially they were still going to take Jak into like a darker direction, but still have it be like a platformer similar to one, but like eventually like they changed to the GDA design as well to like fit that, I guess. Samus is in the city, is in Haven City because Jak 2 has the same world as Jak and Daxter. Oh no, I know that, but like in the final game, it's in Dead Town, which is like the early Haven City. Which, you know, like I think it's really well done how they handled that plot point. I'm just very curious as to what the intention was with it initially, because like it's so different, you know. Oh, fuck off. Thanks for getting in depth with this concept art. I never got the chance to really look much into it. Jak 2's concept art never really interested me much, especially compared to Jak 1. Jak 1 has always been the most interesting to me because Jak 1 is such like a more mystical game, I guess. Like it's always got my mind racing a lot more. Jak 2's has always looked very like, you know, technical and like, oh, you know, it's just a city or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then like looking at those like really early images, which were like meant to be, you know, again, like just throwing the wildest shit out there just to like see what people like, what makes people excited in like in early development. Man, that stuff got my mind so much like racing so much looking at that the other day. If Samus's hut was supposed to be in the center of the city, does that mean they drain the ocean to make this city? Yeah, I don't know. Because like if we looked at, well, hold on, let me bring that back up. That one. That image in particular. Again. Like Samos's hut is like here, right? But then like we look under and it's like there's water and there's bridges above. So like I don't know. It's interesting. Go back to that. Okay. Oh yeah, I know the colored one, like the pages with the two colored images. The one on the left I know is Jak 1. That's all good. I don't know why it's so consistently mixed up with Jak 2 stuff online. Are they more inspired by Treasure Planet? Treasure Planet came out in late 2002, so probably no connection. If these are early 2002, yeah, those were early 2002. Early concepts are always interesting to look at, especially when it's really different to the final release. Yeah, it's so funny. Like when I was talking to Deity about it, he's like, you know, it's crazy to think that the Jak 2 we got was Naughty Dog holding back. And it's just like, oh my god, dude, yeah. Crazy. Like those future city images, like Jesus Christ, like what the fuck were they cooking with that, you know? Like I think like initially Jak was going to have time manipulation mechanics, so maybe like there was points in the story where you would go further in the future. Oh man, oh my god. Oh my god. One week ago I was watching the video about Jak through the Journey Back Flash game. Awesome review. Thank you. I had a lot of fun with that one. I wish that Naughty Dog wasn't following trends, but take currently existing genres and made them better. That's literally what Naughty Dog does, which is following trends. That's what Jak 2 is. They followed the trend of the GTA sandbox open world, and they did it their own way with their own spin. That's literally what Naughty Dog has done from inception, even back to like Way of the Warrior, you know. At this rate, we should just redo the whole trilogy. That's literally what I was thinking. It's like, man, we're already redoing Jak 3 because it sucks. It's like, oh my god, the ambition of Jak 2, what it could have been. Oh, it will never be fully realized. Okay, we'll just redo Jak 2 entirely. While we're at it, why not just remake Jak 1? It's like, fuck me. Going from an intensely dark game with ambitious level design seems really similar to the changes Half-Life 2 had between its beta and later release. That's interesting. I'm not really familiar with that. I always loved Jak 1 concept art and always wanted to know what the game would have been. Well, it's interesting actually. There was a point I wanted to make. When you look at concept art for Jak 1 and 3, most of the stuff that you see that didn't make it in the game was mostly just stuff that they didn't get to add because of like time constraints, right? Like for Jak 1, you'll see like concept art for scrapped levels, and Jak 3. I don't know. There's not much concept art of Jak 3 that didn't make it in the game, to be honest. But you don't really see concept art for those games where the game is just completely different. You know, like I mean, to be fair, like the concept art we just looked at. Oh, hey, Alex, you just missed a great stun lock. Like the concept art we just looked at, you know, it's still like, you know, a cool sci-fi city, blah, blah, blah. But it's like the approach to it was like completely different to what we ended up getting. This isn't like a matter of just, oh, they didn't get enough time to do that. It's the approach was totally different, which is what's really interesting to me about it. Whereas like, again, with like Jak 1's concept art, most of that stuff was just like, oh, we didn't get enough time to implement it, or some of it like the Dark Eco crate vehicles in Misty Island. There's concept art for that, and there's screenshots of that being in the game, but they took it out in the final release. So like, you know, some of that stuff like did make it in the game. Also, the scrap time mechanics were more similar to Ratchet and Clank Wreck in Time. I don't know about that because I haven't seen a source for that. I don't know, that seems like conjecture to me. Hey, Kane. Should check out that. You should check that out with Half-Life 2. The beta stuff that leaked showed that the game was going to be much darker than the final. Too much for me to go into here. Well, I still haven't played Half-Life 2, so it wouldn't mean a whole lot to me. So sounds interesting though. I made more friends. Yeah, well, good for you. I was going to go to a gig tonight, but I didn't feel like going, so. Like in a lab. I just realized Jak 2, similar to Half-Life 2, where the first game's enemies are now your friends. Yep, and Jak 2 did it first, which is pretty cool. I wish they got into more of the fantasy magic eco aspect of the game. It seems like a sideline in later games. I think it's more contextual in later games. Like we kind of take it for granted, which is what I think good world building kind of does, especially in a sequel, where it's like, you know, the stuff in the first game is like the really cool thing that sets it apart. But in the later games, it's like, well, that's kind of just like set dressing, and it's context to allow us to build upon new and interesting things, which I think is really cool, actually. See damage numbers? Yeah, this is an open gold cheat. It's pretty cool. Did I get all the orbs here? Yeah, I think I did. Concept art for first game is in a games in a multi-game series has a way different thing. It has a way different thing it has to do though. The second game is less focused on world building most of the time because the world is already there. Yeah, it's interesting though because like again, like a lot of the Jak 1 concept art, at least like, you know, for the world and stuff, a lot of it we did end up seeing in the game. Whereas the world concept art for Jak 2 is like pretty different. I wonder what happened to the villagers of Jak 1. We can only assume they died horribly. Also interesting that in both games, said enemies were only really enemies because they were enslaved by the first game's antagonist. Yeah, and it's interesting that like, I mean, they're slaves in both games. Like, it's pretty fucked. Like, they're slaves by the antagonist in the first game, and they're our enemies. But in this game, like they've been sidelined so much by this game's antagonist that it's like, and they're still like slaves though. They're like, you know, we're trying to liberate them. I almost had a meet up with the designer of the cancelled Alice 2 games. I just live a little bit too far away, but they're in the Netherlands, so who knows? Oh, that's really cool. The cancelled Alice 2 games? Do you mean Alice 3, or was there multiple cancelled Alice games? Man, oh man, it's really cool looking at the beta footage for Alice 2. It's really different. I really want to live in that world, have my own little late and do my own thing. I don't know what, but I really wish. Seems like such an amazing world, especially the first game. Yeah. Jak 1, yeah, Jak 1's world just feels so cozy, you know. Omri Koresh has her own studio in Netherlands now. Sweet, that's cool. I guess like the point I wanted to what's Alice 2? American McGee's Alice. It's a series of 2 games. They're some of my favorites. I've got it right there, the first one, in the background. cozy except for that one island. Well, Sandover Village is cozy. The point I was trying to get at with a lot of that Jak 2 concept art stuff, not only is it just really cool, but also it's like I really feel like the feeling I get of this like really detailed, bustling sci-fi city that we'd get to like have like mechanics similar to Jak 2 with, you know, like you know, flying vehicles to explore it, and have like really cool exploration and stuff. I really don't think we've gotten a game like that, you know. And it's like, you know, we've like, especially in like a cyberpunk setting like Jak 2, right? Like a sci-fi cyberpunk setting. And it's like, you know, we've got Cyberpunk 2077, but it's like we don't really get that either, because like we just still have like normal ass fucking cars on the ground. We don't have flying vehicles that allows us to like explore in multi dimensions, you know? Like, I want a modern Jak 2 in a design sense, you know? And it's like, you know, I am still like fervently anti-remake in a lot of ways, but the one way that I think it is really cool is if you take like the initial like design philosophy and design like objectives of an idea and do it again but different, like a different interpretation of it. And especially if it's the original creators who want to do this, like a Jak 2 remake with like that hugely ambitious, intricately detailed and bustling Haven City. Holy shit, that would have been so cool. Especially because Jak 2's mechanics are so good. Oh. Again, I just don't feel like that original Jak 2 has ever been realized as a video game, which makes me really sad. Because, man, that looks fucking cool. And it's like, and then it's like, when I'm thinking about it, I was like, well, like, you know, having it as a Jak and Daxter game would be even cooler because I love this game and this world and this lore and this characters. But then I think like, well, how would you do it? The Jak 2 remake sort of thing I talked about just then? Okay, that's a way. Then it's like, okay, what about like Jak 4? But it's like, well, I don't want Jak 4 to like be set in Haven City again. That sounds stupid as shit. And it's also like we've already done the city setting, so like having the fourth one set in like another city, you know. So it's like, fuck. Well, I can't even envision a way for Jak to like capitalize on these early ambitions with current like hardware. You know, I think the only way to do it is with like that sort of remake, reimagining concept that I proposed earlier. That's the only way I could like feasibly see those initial like sort of ambitions realized. But again, like and I think like if like they were to do that, the story would be wildly different. I don't think like a lot of the intricate, well, I think it's pretty obvious the intricate plot beats and stuff like that was not figured out at the time. And I imagine like a game like that would have a very different plot, very different pacing, everything. Oh, I just want to know what they were planning with Samus's hut there. It's so cool. Okay, I got everything here. I hate Cyberpunk 2077 for being the thing people think of when mentioning Cyberpunk. Yeah. Hate's a strong word, but yeah, Cyberpunk is so much more. Oh, I know. Like again, like so many. Oh, hold on, I gotta bring it back up. Like so many of these images are just fucking Blade Runner, you know? Like Jesus. Like here, you know, like just set this at nighttime with like pouring rain. This is Blade Runner. This is Blade Runner. This is Blade Runner, you know? Like, dude. Whoa, we could have had the greatest game ever. And we did. It's Jak 2, but it could have been way cooler. I tried some of both Atlas games and they seem cool. I need to go back and actually play them both and finishing both. That's cool. Yeah, that's some of my favorites. I would strongly recommend to stay away from any console port of the first one because it's really awful. I'm really glad I took off the desktop view when I did. Just got a thing from GOG It's like on sale, hot adult games. It's like, fuck's sake, leave me alone. Do I use GOG more than Steam? I don't. I mean, like, I don't because like a lot of games that I've bought just haven't been on GOG, so, and GOG stuff goes on sale less than Steam, so like I just have spent more money there naturally. I also started using Steam first, but I do have a considerable GOG library that I still haven't really discovered. I mean explored. Mostly a lot of like really old, really weird point and click games. But I've got some classic games on there as well, so. Also, if we're going to have flying cars in real life, for them being impractical and dangerous. Oh, we're never going to have flying cars in real life. Yeah, true. Also, if we can drive in 2 dimensions, what makes you think it'll be better in 3 dimensions? Like in the game, I was imagining like it's not just like, you know, multiple elevations, but like free flowing, you know, like, is GOG bad? No, GOG is DRM free, so it's good. It's actually a lot better than Steam. Yeah. I have no idea what you're talking about, but this is so intriguing nonetheless. I'm glad you're sticking around for it. I'm glad you're finding it interesting. There's Jak fans that want a Jak 4 and Spyro fans that want a Spyro 4. I'm neutral, so I'm not too worried if these games ever get thought up or made. I mean, yeah, like I don't care if like a new Jak game gets made, and if it does get made, I want it to be done right. I want it to be done with care, and purpose and intent, instead of just like here's another one. Whoa, remember this game? Can you add the games you've bought from GOG to Steam? Nope. They're 2 completely different services. GOG also just has like fuck tons of like ancient games that are just not on Steam, which is really cool. Not even as local files? Like, I don't actually know. I don't know if GOG does that. I meant flying cars in 3 dimensions in real life. Wait, when you say 3 dimensions, do you mean like elevations, like how I was talking, or do you mean dimensions is something else? Oh wait, can you add games you've bought from GOG to Steam? Oh, I thought you said the other way around. You probably could. Like if you just want Steam as your launcher, you can probably do that. Elevations, yeah, something in the sky. I mean, flying cars are just never gonna exist, so. What am I doing? The only time I ever heard about DRM was when Hi-Fi Rush released, because that was on GOG now, I believe. Oh, interesting. Yeah, well, it's just nice to be able to, like, have the freedom to do whatever you want with the games that you've bought. You know, like if you want, like, you can buy a game and just, like, put all the files of it on a USB and give it to a friend. Like, you know, you've got that freedom. And like, if the GOG servers go down or whatever, and you've got it downloaded, or you want to play like offline, it's just like, well, you know, you're fine. You never have to like authenticate it like you do with Steam all the time. Oh yeah, itch.io is like always the best way to get your games if it's on there, but that's mostly indie games. I'm from the era where Always On was a big deal to fight, but we lost the Always On fight. Yeah. Convenience always wins out, which is a shame. Because, you know, like we just like slowly have like our digital freedoms taken away, but it's like, well, it's more convenient to like let our corporate overlords just like harvest data and give us the short end of the stick. You know, it's more convenient that way, so who cares? Ugh. It's just terrible support though for developers, no business support at all. Ah, that sucks. I wish they had a program where I could just give them $100 just like Steam. What? You just give them $100 like for no reason. It's cool emulation can be talked about in this chat and my message doesn't get deleted like in other live streams I watch. That's the thing? Really? Oh, maybe people like block it out so they don't get like... Or maybe they're worried about getting in trouble for talking about an illegal thing or whatever. I don't know. Emulation is good and always morally correct. I'm tired of hearing about developers being bad places to work at. Is there a company that is good? We live under capitalism. Nope. Unless it's a game developer co-op, I guess. Which I guess if that did exist, it would be an indie studio. Oh, does Twitch really not take kindly to emulation talk? Oh, that's weird, man. Twitch is like really fucking... I hate Twitch. I hate Twitch so much. On every front. I hate it as a streamer and I hate it as a viewer. I think it sucks. I'm playing through Klonoa 2 through emulation at the moment. I kind of enjoy the platform more than the first so far, but the first game is a better vibe. Yeah, I kind of agree. 2 has like more diverse mechanics, which I think is cool. But I feel like it's way easier than 1. Like it never ramps up in difficulty nearly as much as 1. Like 1 really pushes it to the limit, which I think is cool. You mean that place with artistic nudity? They walked that back pretty fast. Due to chat shenanigans, Zeke thinks I want to give each $100 for the hell of it. I mean, that's how I read it. True, I die quite a bit in 1, especially fighting Joker. That is a tough fight, yeah. I also feel like 2 has a fucking weird... Like every boss fight in 1 is so cool and unique. And in 2, it's like the majority of them are just like circular arenas. And it's like, this isn't very fun. You know, like some of them are really, really good, especially against Lee Arena. Like the second one. Well, like the last fight you have with her. That's like an excellent fight. But like, why do they all have to be like really obviously circular arenas. Like there were circular arenas in 1, but they all felt like part of the environment. All of the ones in 2 are just like, oh, here's a big circle. Like a perfect circle. I don't know. I don't know, it's weird. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's like all the boss fight arenas in 1 felt like they were part of the environment. It felt organic. In 2, every single one feels like a boss arena. And it's like, this is lame. I don't know. I like a lot of the boss fights in 2, but like, damn, dude. Like, again, I think Klonoa 2 is like an excellent game. It's one of my favorites, like of all time. I think it's terrific. I just feel like 1 just felt so much tighter. Like 1 just has like, it's just so tight, you know. 2 has like a few like niggling things, like the repetition of replaying levels just sometimes feels unnecessary, and like it drags on a little bit. And again with the boss fights, I think it's kind of weird, but you know, it's small things. Like the big picture stuff is what Klonoa 2 really shines with, and I think it's really good. Klonoa 1 music is a lot greater. Nah, Klonoa 2 music was bangers too. Klonoa is just good. True. Klonoa 1 has Untamed Heart, so... but Klonoa 2 has Huponia, so... I think it's a bit unfair to pit them against each other because both soundtracks are absolutely killer. I haven't finished 2 yet, but the music just hasn't been as lush and memorable so far. For me, it felt that way because 1's structure was a lot easier to internalize. It was 2 levels per zone, and the second one always had a boss fight, you know? And so it's like each level had its own track. And so it was like very easy to associate tracks with certain levels. Whereas with 2, it's a lot looser with that. And like the locales are a lot less like whimsical and magical. There's a lot more like urban places, like the city of Volk, or like the Carnival Kingdom or whatever. But 2 does have some stellar like, oh man, oh dude, the fucking what is it, Maze of Memories, whatever it's called. Oh god, it's so good. The Ark and Shrine areas are beautiful. I love the Ark soundtrack. That was the first level I played where I'm just like, oh, this feels like Klonoa 1 again, you know? I should like do something in this game that I'm playing. I watch some gaming live streams on Twitch, but I still enjoy watching YouTube live streams more. Yeah. There's only 3 boss fights in 1. That is not true in the slightest. There's 7. There's 6 like worlds, and each one has a boss fight on the second level, and then there's the final boss after all of those. What are you talking about? Oh, in Jak 1. I'm so sorry. You are correct. Yes, you are correct. I was talking about Klonoa. I'm so sorry. Yes, there's only 3 boss fights in Jak 1, and the last one is the only really good one, I think. The rest are just okay. The track per level was kind of considered old at that point. In 1997? Or 2001 when Klonoa 2 was released. I mean, Klonoa 2 still kind of did that. Like, it did, well, I mean, like, it did separate, like some levels into, like, different chunks, which had different tracks, but, like, 2001, I mean, early 2K. I mean, I suppose. I just found it harder to like really connect and find the tracks memorable in Klonoa 2 compared to 1, but like, and I think it's to do with the structure. I mean, it's the same with like the levels themselves. Like it was harder to like remember where the placement in the game was, because of like the weird structure of 2. I don't know. Am I into Rayman at all? I've like played a bit of the first one. I finished the PS2 port of 2, which was okay, and I played most of 3, and like I mean they're okay. I'm not like head over heels for them. I thought Rayman Origins was really good and really fun, but I never finished it. I might change my mind by the end of it. It's very fun to play. See, it took me a good handful of playthroughs to really get Klonoa 2. The first time I played it, I was just like, man, like there's no way this lives up to like the first game. And like in a lot of ways it didn't. But I think that's really to its benefit. It's doing its own thing. Like with like, you know, the thematics and the storytelling and stuff. I think Klonoa 2 is a very mature game, a very profound game. And again, it's like, it's one of those games where it's like, it works so well because it's a sequel to the first game. Like it's that continuous thematic string, you know? Which is why I'm so hesitant about like wanting a Klonoa 3, because like 2 was like it like really concluded that character arc, you know, like that thematic like tension had been resolved, you know, and it's like, I don't know, like people want a Klonoa 3 and it's like, I mean sure, but like what is there left to tell, you know? Like conceptually, there's so much to explore with the Klonoa universe. I really think that. But like thematically, it's like, fuck, well, what do we even do? Man, I really fucked up my camera angle. Sick. Sounded like gold. Do you think the plot in Klonoa 2 is as good as in 1? Like 1 should really pay attention to the dialogue? Yeah. Like, maybe not the dialogue specifically, but like, what the game is about, I think is very important. Jak 2 was going to have a hoverboard competition, but it was scrapped due to AI problems, so they replaced it with the Daxter race instead. Have you got a source for that? I haven't heard that before. Oh, also, real quick, let me bring this up. I just like saw this earlier. So here is the Art of Naughty Dog again for Jak 2, and then we've got Dark Jak. Dark Jak and Dark Daxter were developed to add more gameplay mechanics to the world. The concept for Dark Daxter would be shelved until it finally debuted in the Ready at Dawn developed Daxter for the PSP. So interesting that the Dark Daxter was going to be a thing, but they got it wrong. It wasn't in Daxter, it was in The Lost Frontier. Like, what are you doing? Anyway. Ring challenge. Whoa. Man, we needed more of this. More like jumping from jetboard to vehicle and stuff. Pog. Health bars mess me up. I can turn it off. It's not a huge deal. See, this is what I mean, right? Like we've got an area here with like some market stuff and some people walking around, but look how open and wide this is. Like, I don't know, man. Like, if Jak 2, like with the areas, like shrinked it down a bit and was able to have it more bustling, it would have made the area feel a lot more immersive and a lot cooler. But I think it would have gotten in the way of the gameplay systems that we have in this game. So, you know, I can understand why things are the way they are, but it makes me sad anyway. You know, it's like, not only like, are we never going to have a game like Jak 2 ever again? We're never going to have the game that Jak 2 was initially going to be. Like, that game has never been made. I don't think it ever will be. Since I'm not familiar with the Jak games, but can tell 2 is quite different from 1, at least in its gameplay, I want to know, did it alienate the fans at the time? Absolutely. The Jak fan base to this day is still extremely split. Yeah. Not only just its gameplay, but like its tone and its everything. Jak 2 is like a huge departure from 1. But it's also very much like the same in a very like spiritual core sense, you know? Like its design philosophy and its attitude towards everything. It's like it's still very much Jak. I think the metal bugs in Daxter are supposed to be cousins to the metalheads. I always thought they were just like smaller metalheads. I like Jak 1 better, but Jak 2 could be a spin-off for more mature audience. No, that's the thing. The thing that makes Jak 2 so special is the fact that it is a sequel to Jak 1. Like its thematic like underpinnings just would not hit at all if it was just a standalone thing. If it wasn't a sequel, like a direct sequel, it just wouldn't work. And like, but not only like the thematics, like the gameplay systems are like such an evolution of Jak 1's. Like Jak 1 was like, you know, we had like the platforming and the vehicles, but like they were all like so sectioned off. Like the zoomer was only accessible in specified areas. But in Jak 2, it's like, well, you have the access to all these different mechanics all at once, and you can intermingle them and vary up your gameplay on the fly. It's like such an evolution of Jak 1's gameplay. And it's like, dude, oh, it's so good. Jak could have been The Legend of Zelda for the PS1. It was a PS2 game. And Legend of Zelda isn't a platformer or a collectathon. Like, I think there is some, like, you know, Zelda DNA in Jak 1, but not so much to be like the Zelda of PlayStation. I feel the game aged as its players did at the time. I think that was definitely the intention with Naughty Dog. Like, you know, I think every game they've made thus far has been an attempt to age up with the players who were children playing Crash 1 and have stuck with them ever since, you know? Which I think is cool. Fuck me. It's them proving that, like, you know, video games are more than just like a kid's pastime, you know? Didn't Jak 2 only release like 2 years after the first one? Yeah, so Jak 1 took 3 years to make, Jak 2 released 2 years later, and then Jak 3 was only a year after Jak 2, which is a big reason it's not very good. Can anyone here think of one-of-a-kind games? I can think of maybe 5. I can probably tell you a bunch, but they're all like weird Japanese PS1 games that I don't know the name of. But I don't think that's even like a real thing, because art doesn't exist in a vacuum. Like, no art does. It's impossible. Every work of art is in conversation with previous works, with contemporary works. Everything has influences. There's nothing one of a kind, like, truly. Well, I was typing for 20 seconds and then Zeke says it better, SMH. You're welcome. Hey, has anyone seen Hitchcock's Rear Window? That movie's wild. I just watched that the other day. That was really cool. Oh no, I wanted to talk about that. It made me have like a really cool game concept idea. I think that could be really cool. Doing like a Rear Window-esque video game, but like without like a central like sort of plot, I guess. But it's like, I guess unless you've watched the movie, you will know what I'm talking about. Basically, like the movie revolves around this guy. He's like, he's confined to his home because he's got a broken leg, and all he really does is like sit at his window and look through people's windows in like the apartment complexes and whatever in the courtyard below him, and like see glimpses into people's lives and stuff. And eventually, like he stumbles upon like some suspicious happenings with like a neighbor where it seems like he's killed his wife, and like he's piecing together pieces and like trying to like prove it, sort of thing, all from the confines of his own apartment. And I was like, man, that could be like a really cool game concept where it's like you're just in an apartment like of your own, and you use like the mouse or whatever. All you can really do is look around, and you see like it through people's windows, just like glimpses into their daily lives, and they're like telling their own stories through like very minimal like goings on, you know. And maybe the goal of the game is like, well, each person has like a whole entire life story, you know, and like their whole lives, and maybe like each of them has something suspicious going on, right? But maybe only one of them has something actually sinister going on. So maybe the goal of the game is to observe everything that's happening, put the pieces together in like mentally, and and maybe try and like determine which person is like up to no good or whatever, you know? I don't know. I feel like that could be like a really cool game where it's just like a slice of life observation game sort of thing. I don't know. Just the whole time I was watching it, it was like, man, this could be a really cool game concept. Can I pay you to write my plots for me? I am not a very good writer. I'm sorry. Some ideas might be too niche to be continued, but my point is every idea is built upon other ideas. So it's not really one of a kind because it comes from somewhere. Jak 2, Crash Team Rumble, Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, Zappling Bygone, and another I thought of being the Eternal Cylinder, each being unique for different reasons. I mean, like, but all of those things have like drawn in, like Jak 2 is like is unique insofar as like what elements it throws into a blender, you know. But the individual like elements are not unique in the slightest. So like I guess unique and one of a kind are maybe synonymous. I don't know, but like one of a kind really feels like a much more definitive statement, whereas unique is just like, you know, oh well, you know, there's not much out there like it, you know. I don't know. Well, like, yeah, everything is unique. Like, no two games are exactly the same. No two ideas or no two works of art are exactly the same. So everything is unique, but like, being completely like its own thing, like completely, like, yeah. Well, I think some of its parts can be considered different from their specific inspiration. Well, obviously, like Jak 2's like ideas aren't ripped wholesale from their inspirations. They're obviously changed and interpreted and adapted. But like, it's not like every idea in Jak 2 was pulled completely out of nothing but the swirling consciousness of Naughty Dog at the time. Like, they all came from somewhere. I'm trying to say some games taken as a whole are different enough to where that experience either can't be found elsewhere or is very hard to find. I mean, sure, in like a broad sense, I guess, but it's like, again, like every piece of art is unique because no two works are exactly the same. It's just to the extent, I guess. I don't know. I get. My issue isn't like what you're trying to do. I think it's just a framing. I think a better way of framing it would be like, what games stand out more than others. I think Jak 2 stands out more than others because of like, you know, blah blah blah. I don't think it's like, you know, completely original because, you know, nothing is. Nothing is and everything is, depending where you focus. If you focus on it being the same, you can tell it is. If you focus on differences, you can tell it is. I mean, like, when I say, like, completely original, I mean, like, the idea is born of nothing but, like nothing but one's own imagination, like, with no outside influence whatsoever. And it's just like, that's not possible. Let me know if you've seen a game like Hylix 1 and 2. If so, I need to know it. I haven't played them, so I don't know. Tell me if you see a game like Jak 2, because I need to know it. That Gear Grit game looks kind of cool. That game, watching those few videos of that Gear Grit game, that like Jak 2 inspired indie game on Twitter, that and the way like that's just approaching his level design just in that small snippet. Man, even that got me like really depressed about Jak 2's world design. It's just like, oh, we could have had something really cool, but we didn't get it. I just wish Haven City had more exploration, you know? Because it's really just a bunch of like funneling hallways that like interconnect in really cool ways and do serve like the unique mechanics of 2. But man, there's just no exploration. There's nowhere to like explore and cool things to find out in the city, and that makes me really sad. I feel like a Jak game with a semi-open world fleshed out like FF7 Rebirth would be amazing. Also, hope you're doing well, Zeke. Thank you. I haven't played either of the FF7 remakes or the original, so I can't really say. Fun Little Thing has made a zombie game for school, but used the school as a map, but had to change because they thought about school shootings. Jesus, yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty obvious way to get put on a list. I should just like hurry up and get 200 precursor orbs. Give me side missions. Right. Sweet. Have you ever streamed blind playthroughs of games? Have I? I might have done 1 or 2 in the past. It's not something I like doing much because I like having first experiences with art in a very deliberate context like really engaging with it, with my full attention and all that. So I don't really do that very often. I have been playing like 0 games this year. I played a few in January and then I just have not played like any since. I've been doing a lot of reading and watching films for school and stuff, so I just haven't even been bothered really. I've been spending all my money on books and it's like, fuck, I just... Oh, I'm never awake enough or have enough energy to read, but I want to read. Oh... All my playthroughs are blind if I remove my glasses, yeah. What am I reading at the moment? I mean, I can show you. One sec. Have I heard of the YouTuber Kadikarus? He's one of my favorites. For school, I'm reading Beloved by Toni Morrison, which is a really heavy read. Really interesting. I've read like the first like part of it, and I'll read the rest in the next couple weeks because I'm on break at the moment. I'm reading Emma Goldman's Anarchism and Other Essays. I'm only a couple in so far, but it's been quite interesting. And I just got this in the mail the other day. This is Trade Unionism in Australia. Fuck me. I've read what? 15 pages and it's like, wow. The Workers' Party of Australia really fucking hates workers. Jesus Christ. This has been super interesting, and I'm slow reading this. I'm like taking notes and everything, so it's like I can only read like 4 pages at a time before feeling exhausted. But that's been interesting. What does heavy mean in this? Hard to read, emotional? Yeah, it's a very dark story. It's got like every trigger warning in the book. That's one way to put it. It's based on a true story about an escaped slave in 19th century America who, when she was found by her previous owners and they were going to take her back, I guess spoilers, she killed her own children, so, well, one of them, so they wouldn't be taken back into slavery. And it's kind of like it takes that like historical concept and crafts a whole like story and narrative around it. It's very dark. Sounds good. It's been interesting. It's been a bit difficult to read as well because of the way the story is structured. Like constant like multi-chapter long like flashbacks. So it's a bit hard to like keep up with what's happening. But it's well written. It's quite good. Aussie politics, I love it. Lord help us. Oh, it's so fucked, man. I don't know why I just got healed just then. I pressed the X button and I don't have debug mode on. Weird. Hardest book I ever read was C++ for beginners. Made me cry so beautiful. Jesus, yeah. Used to read a lot of books when I was younger, when I used to do homeschooling, but grew out of books as an adult. Yeah, honestly, it's pretty sad when, like, how little adults, like, read. Because, like, well, like, at least, like, you know, literature. It's just another art form, like, same with, like, TV shows or films or anime or video games. And it's like, well, like, reading is just, like, the least engaged with art form these days. What about John Howard Lazarus Rising? I have not read... That's his autobiography, isn't it? I have not read it. Reading requires more brain cells than I have. And yeah, social media has shrunk our brains. Honestly, like I mean, I do have ADHD, so I do find it difficult to read. But when I really put my mind to it, like, hey, I'm deciding I'm gonna start reading more like novels and like proper literature. It was difficult at first, but really it was just like practice. Like, even now, like it's still, I have to be like, you know, the right level of like tiredness or like awakeness, or, you know, just have some sort of mental clarity. But even like if I do force myself like to read regardless, or even like if I do like read with like, you know, perfect state of mind, I usually still have to like, you know, read for like 5-10 minutes before I'm like fully engaged with what I'm reading. But it does also depend on the book, like how difficult it is to read. So I genuinely think like, you know, reading, well, it's interesting because like let's think of how like we engage with like art forms, right? Well, film and music, very passive. Like it just happens at you, and you don't really have to like work to like engage with it. Aside from like paying attention, I guess. But with like reading and video games, it's kind of a skill that you need to like build up a bit, you know? And people are willing to do that with games because like, I guess, you know, they're fun, and not with books because, well, you know, it's not. I don't know. I think there's a lot of value in literature. I've been having a lot of fun reading. And even with like the non-literature stuff, like the anarchist theory and the trade union stuff, it's fucking so interesting. My dyslexia house doesn't agree. I mean, like, obviously, like, with, like, anything, like, there are some people who, like, just, you know, are at different levels because of, like, developmental things or neurodivergence or whatever. The same can obviously be said for video games, though. Like, not everyone who plays games is on equal footing. So... I hear that if you learn something before you sleep, you remember it better. I don't know about that. I know that I know, or at least for like when learning like a song on an instrument, for example, you learn it initially and then revisit it like 24 hours later, like you review it, and that is what helps it stick with you for a long time. Because like I know for me, like if I just like learn a song on the fly and then don't revisit it at all, like I've forgotten it. But if I revisit it like, you know, a day or maybe even like 2 days after, it tends to stick with me a lot more. But do you think I read a book when I listen? Some people disqualify me saying I read a book when I listened. Honestly, yeah, kinda. I think it's a completely different experience. Like reading, the way sentences are constructed, you know, the prose and the rhythm and the meter and the syntax and the structure, it's completely different when read aloud. Like the language, like the language of writing is much different to the language of speaking. So just from like an artistic perspective, I think it is completely different reading versus listening. But also from from a consumption standpoint, again, I think you have to work, at least in some respect, to read. But like listening, it's just like you don't. It's passive, like music and film. It's like you're not really engaging with like how the art form, like the inherent nature of the art form if you're like just doing it differently. It's the same with like watching let's plays of video games. Like, I guess you've like seen the content of the video game, but like it's been passive, not active. I think that's kind of ableist, not gonna lie, and feels very bad to me. I get what you're saying, it's not the same, but I can't do the same. I know where you're like I said before, like I'm not saying it's like, obviously different people have different like restrictions because of like natural ability or neurodivergence, and that's fine. I'm not like disrespecting that, or like I'm not unacknowledging that. But I do think we need to acknowledge that like listening is inherently different to reading. For you, reading is way more passive than for me. If my BF reads, it's almost a passive thing for him. He reads so easy. And I'm not listening to books while I'm on the PC. I just lie in my chair. Like, I mean, yeah, like that's fair. Like I have to put in a lot of effort to read as well. Like I have ADHD and it's very difficult for me to read at times. And I know, like, you know, some people have it worse than I do, and I recognize that. But like I don't think that changes like what I've been saying though. Also, like I'm not speaking specifically to you because I don't know your experience or whatever, but I do feel like a lot of people just like, oh, like they just like use their like neurodivergence to be like, oh, just I have this, so I'm not going to bother, which sucks because like, you know, like what have I done? Because like, you know, I hear a lot of people say like, oh, I have ADHD, so I just don't read, and it's like, I also have ADHD, you know, different people have it like to varying degrees, but like I still like made an effort to like, you know, try and read and engage with it. And it fucking was really hard at the beginning, but like I still did it, and now I'm better at it than I was. So like I don't think it's impossible for like a lot of people who claim it is impossible for them, you know? And I feel like a lot of people just go like really defeatist about things because of like, oh well, I have this condition, so I'm not going to bother, which sucks. But I also think it's just a bunch of fucking terminally online Zoomers who are like, oh, well, I don't want to read, and I have this, so I'm not going to bother. So like, you know, whatever. Like I don't think it's like there's a moral necessity for people to read more, but it's like it is a shame that this is kind of like a dying art form. And but like not even in the arts with like literature, but like, you know, with like, you know, non-fiction, like with like maybe like history, like texts, or political theory and political science, and just like, you know, a bunch of other stuff where there's like very useful information, and especially when like talking to like, you know, political radicals online, and you fuckers like don't even want to bother reading anything. It's like, well, what are you doing? I don't know. What is the goal of what you were doing in the game? Give my fingers something to do. I was collecting precursor orbs, but I've been too enraptured in whatever conversation we're having, so. Same with my arguments, I had to work hard as well, and I know you don't disqualify me personally, but wanted to type this as well. I learned a second language before most people did, had to work hard, but wanted to experience media in the way it was made as a child. So yeah, basically when TV was active for me. Like, yeah, no, I get it. Like, obviously, like, everyone, like, has different, like, levels of ability when it comes to engaging with a lot of different things. Some people have to work harder for it than others, and that does suck. But, like, that's just kind of the way things are. You know, like, we can't eliminate neurodivergence or anything like that. But it's like, I don't think, like, acknowledging that different people have different like ability to engage with like different pieces of media should just be like an excuse to like, oh, we'll just like not bother then, you know? Like I do find it difficult to read, but like I still do it because like I think it's a good thing to do and I want to do it. Whereas like a lot of other people like I've seen talk about this sort of stuff or like talked with is just like, well, I have this, so I don't. And And it's like, well, yeah, it makes it harder, but it's not impossible. And, you know, just because, like, there is some friction and some people don't experience any friction at all doesn't mean I don't think, like, you shouldn't still, like, put in some work to, like, do it. You know, like, I don't know. Like, people want, like, art to be, like, frictionless. Like, just, like, passive, just shove it in my fucking eyeballs and ear holes, you know? And it's like, well... You know, like, some people's lived experiences are just different, and, like, I don't think, like, we should, like, if you have, like, a rougher lived experience because of, like, inherent qualities to how you experience the world, it's like, well, you know, it sucks, but, you know, like everyone else, we have to learn with, like, our limitation, we have to live with our limitations and learn how to overcome them and everything, so, like, don't be so defeatist about it. I don't know. It's just, like, this isn't, like, I don't see this much when it comes to, like, you know, reading specifically, but I see it a lot when it comes to, like, people talking about, like, taking personal responsibility for, like, how you live your life when it comes to, like, I don't know, like, cooking or eating or whatever. It's like, obviously some people have it easier than others, but, like, we've all got to do this shit anyway, so we should at least, like, acknowledge that some people have it harder than others and still try our best to do our best anyway. Like, that's my whole takeaway with all this, I guess. I don't know. People get so fucking defensive with the whole, like, accusing people of ableism when it comes to stuff like this, where it's just like, yes, I fucking acknowledge that people, like, have different lived experiences and find things more difficult than other people, but try your best anyway. Don't just, like, let that be, don't let that determine what you can and can't do, you know? Strive for better always, regardless. That's my spiel. I have to make a punk song about my asthma, not gonna lie, that's based, yeah. I want art shoved in my earballs. Fuck me. It also sucks that, like, a lot of these, like, you know, things to do with ableism. Like, ableism is, like, a real thing, and it is a serious thing, but, like, most of discourse that I see about this shit on Twitter is with, like, fucking 16-year-olds, you know? It was just like, oh, I'm too sad to, like, do, like, literally anything, and that's my neurodivergence, so life sucks. You can't criticize my actions at all. It's like, stop being 16 online, please. With the ableist discussion I kind of made, it just felt some kind of way. Love you. No, I know. I don't think there's any misunderstanding here or whatever. Like, none of my rant just now has been about you. It's just been about broader tendencies I've seen and fucking. Twitter and TikTok are a menace to society? Absolutely. What does Clonoa want? I don't know. I got to deal with this stuff with siblings. I can't do things because of X. It's sometimes infuriating. I think I do it sometimes. No, like, I know, I get it. You know, again, like, ableism is, like, a real thing where it's like, you know, some people do have, like, limitations on what they are able to do, and, you know, people around them do need to recognize that and be considerate of that. But at the same time, when it's like you know, like, when it's like not physical disabilities, and it comes to, like, you know, everyday life stuff, like, you know, sometimes it can be really fucking hard to, like, go make yourself food or go have a shower or whatever, you know. Sometimes it is, like, a huge monumental ask, and it's like, I recognize that and I sympathize heavily, but it's like, at the same time, it's something all of us need to, like, do. It's something we need to learn to push through and get better at, and some people are just, like, more willing to, like, wallow in that and not try and get better, you know? Because it's fucking hard and it sucks, and, like, yeah, it fucking does. But like, it's not an excuse. Oh, no, it's not that it's not an excuse. It's like, it's not an excuse to not try, you know? Everyone needs to get better. Everyone needs to, like you should, everyone should strive to have, like, happy, healthy lives as much as you can in this fucking soul-crushing system we live under. But it's like, you know, when you don't have people around you that are supportive, it's obviously 100 times harder. But I just, you know, like the realm of like the discussion of personal responsibility is obviously like a really like present in a lot of like really reactionary conservative fucking culture and tendencies, which sucks because like taking like personal responsibility for like your life and everything and how you live and how you dictate how you act and everything, like that shouldn't be left to right wingers. Like everyone should like try and always strive to be better. Personal liability. Are you a liberal? Yeah. My parents forgot I have a disability I have, and I felt so bad. Which, while I guess it's good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't think I read that right. But no, yeah, that sucks. Anyway, I don't know what I'm even doing at the moment. We talked about the concept art. That was cool. How long are we going? 2:40. Anyway, I've been reading. Reading's fun. People should read more. Even if it's hard, maybe try. If you haven't tried in a while, keep trying. It's good to read. Makes brain gooder. I also hate when people use no ethical consumption under capitalism to completely dismiss any personal responsibility. Like, imagine if everyone had that mindset, there'd be no change. No, I think that's a completely different argument. When I say personal responsibility, I mean you are personally responsible for how you act and exist. I don't think any one person should be held responsible for market forces under capitalism. And I also don't think one person's influence has any like tangible influence on market forces under capitalism. So, like, obvious. I hate this whole topic because like no ethical consumption under capitalism is true because there isn't. And the argument is obviously, well, there are obviously worse things to consume under capitalism, which, yes, that is also true. But again, I don't think like holding individuals accountable for like market forces and stuff like that is really most people mostly use that to dismiss veganism. Yeah, and I think it's kind of fucking true. I'm fully in favor of animal liberation and animal rights. I've been vegan for 3 years. I have no plans on stopping or whatever. But like the vegan movement's obsession with personal boycotting of an industry, like $1 trillion industry, like this is the weakest political tool we have in our toolbox. And I wish that us as a political movement wouldn't focus so much on the individual actions of an actor and instead focus on our energy at systems, at politicians, at direct action, at targeted fucking like action, you know, instead of just, well, I'm gonna make you feel really bad for eating eggs, I guess, which is like horrific. Like, these are obviously horrific, unjustifiable industries. But like the personal boycott is like the least effective tool in our toolbox, and we need to like we need to like fucking spend our energy in more effective areas. And the reason it's like this is because like it's such like as it is, like veganism is such a liberal movement. Like the liberal notion that like the individual can have such profound impact that we can attain radical change through the system itself. Like, it's an inherently liberal concept. We cannot vote our way into communism, just as much as we cannot vote with our dollar our way into an animal liberated future. We need more radical action, and I wish that was more understood. Jack in politics. Hey, yes, one. I think we have to both push for systemic change and individual responsibility, because it all starts with the individual. You spare hundreds of animals for slaughter each year if you go vegan. Hundreds, yeah, maybe. Millions die per minute. Like, I'm sorry, like, I don't think it's very compelling. I think like, you know, convincing someone of the ethics of animal liberation, having them, like, in their heart of hearts agree with the cause, is 100 times more effective than, like, pressuring them to, like, stop eating plant-based. Because at least then, you know, like, not everyone who goes vegan becomes an activist. But if you, like, truly believe that animal rights is as much a social justice issue as racism, as transphobia, you're more likely to act on that. And, you know, like, you know, some people will just go vegan by virtue of that. And you don't have to push them. And that's great too, you know? But, like, the obsession with just making people go vegan, regardless of their actual, like, personal standing on it, like, you know, people go vegan for, like, the environment or for their own personal health. And it's like, well, I guess, like that's the same outcome as someone going vegan for, like, ethical reasons, because, well, they're both, like, they're still not eating animals, but, like, those other people don't necessarily give a fuck about animals. So they're not gonna, like, get active for radical change, you know? Yeah. Like put it this way, I would much rather 1,000 carnists at an event, like, pushing for radical, like, change, like, you know, with effective activism, than I would 100 perfect vegans who don't do any activism. I would much rather that scenario. I don't think I worded that very well, but I hope my the general gist of it got across. You are born into capitalism and you hate it, yet you capitalism. Oh, hate moons out. I didn't see you there. There is a giant campaign in the Netherlands about reducing waste on a personal level. Giant companies just throw it to the end consumer. No, while bowing down to Shell. No, exactly. Like same with recycling or your personal carbon footprint. These are extremely, like, liberal ways of looking at, like, radical change. None of these things are effective. All it does is obfuscate the responsibility of these horrific practices to the consumer. The consumer isn't responsible for this shit. The industries who are making the trillions of dollars off the backs of suffering are responsible for this. Like, that's where we should be directing our anger. Not like a random fucking single mother who's feeding, like, her children fucking McDonald's chicken McNuggets because, like, she's too tired from working 60 hours a week to, like, cook rice and beans or whatever, you know? Which, again, I think it is good when people go vegan, obviously. But again, like, we've got to recognize it's the weakest tool in our toolkit, which doesn't mean we should like dismiss it. It means we should be using our more effective tools. Liberalism is so wildly different for your country. A pig's farm was burned down here last week. 30,000 pigs dead. The whole thing was the news. Anyway, Punk's not dead. When I say liberalism, I mean, like, the ideology of capitalism is liberalism. Like, I don't mean liberal as in, like, where do you fall on the political compass. That's always relative, but, like, that's not really what liberal means. Like, liberal in the US has a left-leaning connotation, whereas liberal in Australia refers to the Liberal Party, which is the socially conservative party. So, Zeke, you're the only guy I know, other than my professors, who uses the word obfuscate out loud rather than saving that for a fancy word for an essay. Nice. Listen up, liberals. My wife left me. No, but I agree with you. I just think it's silly that people dismiss any personal responsibility whatsoever. Those are the same people that would only go vegan if the rest of the world will. I just don't think... Look, obviously I think it's good if people go vegan. However, the kinds of... Like, I've been seeing this with the recent like boycotts for Palestine and stuff. Obviously, like, supporting Palestine is good and base and blah, blah, blah. But, like, people get, like, so enraged and wild about people not boycotting these specific billion-dollar corporations, you know? Which, like, what is the use of this? Like, bullying people for eating McDonald's? This doesn't get anything done for Palestine. This doesn't get anything done for the vegan movement. Like, all this does, like, you know, people say it's like a cop-out or whatever, but it's true. All it does is alienate people from, like, the broader movement. We shouldn't be focusing on such negligible things. Like, again, like, going out to a rally or a protest or direct action is 1,000 times more effective than not spending money at a billion-dollar corporation. Like, your $3... McDonald's isn't going to miss your $3, you know? Like... Hey, Zeke, this is an interesting to wake up to. Yeah. Welcome. Would I ever do a live stream of any Crash games? Potentially. I did post a whole list of stream ideas I had for the near future in my Discord the other day. I got a number of ideas, like actual dedicated interesting ideas I want to do on stream instead of just games to play, but you know. My Wi-Fi hate. Yeah. Obfuscate is a great word. Why people would not say it more often. Some words just sound great. Yeah, true. Liberalism as an ideology is different from liberalism as a political slant. Too long didn't read, which is something not many people in my poli-sci classes understand. Yeah. Like, again, like, a lot of people think liberal is just someone who's, like, generally left-leaning, you know? Kind of weird to do direct activism for a cause if you don't fully believe in it, though, through your own personal lifestyle. No, nobody's perfect. Like, people are inherently people are walking contradictions. I don't think there's anything valuable with, like, doing the, like, pulling the hypocrisy card for people who are doing, like, genuine work, you know? Can it feel a bit weird for, like, an animal rights activist to, like, do, like, a lot of, like, intense political activism and then go to McDonald's for lunch? Sure, it's you know, it's weird, it seems hypocritical, but it's like, I don't think like that's where our energy should be, like, directed, you know? Like, again, like, I think it is good and better when people are vegan, for, like, myriad of different reasons. But I don't think it's this, like, silver bullet to political change like so many others do. And again, I don't think, like, living living like your personal ideology is, like, necessary for engaging with change. I don't know. Going vegan is not the most we can do, but it's the least we can do. Fighting against oppression or directly funding oppression makes no sense. My point in this whole thing is that, like, your funding, your lack of funding, either way, as an individual, extremely minuscule. And like, we need to be, like, proportionate with where we're putting our energy. Like, sure, it is better, like, in a, like, you know, just in a numbers sense, if you're not supporting the industries you're trying to, like, abolish. But, like, again, like, whether or not you give McDonald's your $3, it's not going to make, like, any real life, real world, tangible difference. So I don't think there's much point putting, like, a bunch of energy into that. Like, I was talking with, like a vegan activist friend of mine the other day. He was in, like, the mall with, like, a placard with, like, you know, a loaded question, like, to prompt discussion and whatever. And I was talking about all this with him, and he was saying stuff like, you know, like, oh, I'm really, like, skeptical of what orgs like Farm Transparency Project are doing. I think it's just, like, you know, harm reductionist, animal welfareist, like, stuff. And I'm just like, oh, so what do you want? You know, oh, you know, like, obviously we want abolishment. Well, how are you getting it? By converting everyone into vegans. And it's like, dude, like, and, like, even, like, he said, like, oh yeah, there's going to be, like, a protest, like, tomorrow about, like, banning duck shooting. Oh, I'm really skeptical of it. We think it's just, like, reformist shit. And it's like, banning duck shooting is reformist? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Supply and demand. Yeah, but if you really think like from an individual actor's point of view that supply and demand is like meaningful at all, I think you're kind of delusional. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I'm talking about an individual level. Like, obviously, as a broad movement, like, you know, some change can be effective. We've seen, like, you know, the dairy industry suffering in recent years because, like, so many young people are switching to plant-based milks, which is great. That's great. Again, I think it is better if people go vegan. I'm saying as an individual actor, the amount of energy that we as activists, like, put towards individual change shouldn't be anywhere near as much as we are. We should be saying, hey, these are our ethical prescriptions, and here's the arguments for them. Now, with that in mind, you can take that information and do a few things with it. You can either throw it away, disagree with it, I can't do anything to change your mind, and leave it at that. If you agree with it, okay, I guess you can go vegan if that's something you're able to do. Not everyone is, we need to acknowledge that. There are obviously, like, you know, there are structural barriers. Some people have it easier than others. Not everyone, you know, neurodivergence and everything. It's a lot harder to, like, you know, change up lifestyle just on a whim like that. Everyone has different lives and different paces and everything, blah, blah, blah. But it's, like, not 100% necessary. So, like, you know, if you agree with it, like, you just do what you can, you know, whatever. You can also take that information, become like a radical activist for radical change. And that's great. You know, like, I don't know, the amount of time I've spent, like, on online vegan communities, like engaging with like vegan content, so much of it is just, it's like such a stereotype, but it's kind of true. Like, so much of it is just moral gatekeeping about, like, well, you're a worse person than I am because, like, I don't eat animals. And it's like, I guess, but, like, you're still engaging with, like, exploitative capitalist systems. Like, what does it really amount to? Oh, here's someone who engages in capitalism, the carnist. Here's someone who engages with capitalism with a smile, the vegan. So, like, again, I'm coming at this from a radical, like anarchist leftist perspective. All of these institutions should be abolished. But, like, with a lot of vegan activists, their only concern is veganism and animal rights, which, like, respect, I think it is a very important issue. But when you're ignoring all of these other structural and systemic, like, injustices, like, do you know how many right-wing vegans I've come across? Like, so many vegans who are, like, virulently transphobic or racist, and it's like, how do you, like, arrive at, like, the most radical, like, form of anti-oppression there is, like, non-humans, and be pieces of shit to humans? Like, I don't get it. And this is like what kind of radicalized me to thinking, like, well, there's something wrong with, like, how we're approaching the vegan movement as, like, a political bloc, because how does that, like, happen, you know? Like, how do we, like, have, like, so many, like, non-leftist vegans, really? And it's really perplexed me. Yeah, the lack of intersectionality is crazy. And this is kind of where I've ended up. We need more radical actors on every front, not just the animal rights front, and more actual radical political change that actually has historically gotten the change that we wanted, not just through consumptive habits. Because all you're doing is still engaging with capitalism, but buying from different suppliers. That's all that's happening. That's my rant. I'm not trying to attack you specifically, Music Junkie. I respect you. I respect you a lot. I enjoy having conversations with you. This is just my perspective, and yeah. I'm just saying that many will hear what you're saying and think they don't need to go vegan. Well, that's why I keep saying I think it's good to go vegan, and you should if you can. I don't think it's the be-all end-all, though. That's my perspective. I don't think it's a be-all end-all. I think it's the least effective tool. Like this. Okay, I think you should if you can, and it's good to do so. That's my general prescriptive statement for everyone on Earth. Now here's my prescriptive statement to the people who want to see radical change. Our individual consumptive practices, the least effective tool we have in our toolkit. We need to be thinking much more radical. That's my message to, like, already, like, people who are already vegan, people who are for, like, very pro-animal liberation, you know? That's my statement to them. That's my whole point. And again, like, it all comes down to like proportionality of the energy spent in activism. Like, I think we should be spending more time doing radical direct action than standing in malls with TVs showing slaughterhouse footage and getting in fights with people for our YouTube channels. Like, I think Joey Carbstrong has done irreparable damage to our movement. There's a clip from the Boondocks when Huey asks Granddad about, what do you mean there's nothing you can't do, but nothing that you do matters? And Granddad says, you do what you can do. Yeah, you do what you can. There's tons of intersectional vegans. Oh, no, I know there is, obviously, but like, I'm astounded by just how many like right-wing vegans I've come across. It's actually disgusting. I agree, it's not the be-all, end-all. That's why I said it's not the most we can do, it's the least we can do. It's the least we can do for people who, like, I don't think it's the least we can do. Like, what does that imply? Like, I just don't like assigning moral culpability to like consumptive habits, because it's like we don't have much choice. Like, why put so much moral weight into a system where we have very little choice, you know? Like, like, I don't know, man. If there wasn't centuries long ingrained perspectives on the well-being, rights, and value of animals, if there wasn't inherent systemic barriers towards a plant-based lifestyle, if there wasn't, you know, cost differences associated with plant-based eating and all blah 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 blah, if there wasn't all of that, plant-based and carnism were on equal footing, I think it would be very clear plant-based eating is the least we can do. Obviously, 100%. But we're not in that world. And so no matter how you look at it, going plant-based and going vegan is like, you know, a step up from like just living like a normal life. Like, you're not a normal person if like it or not, you're not like a normal like citizen if you're vegan, because like you've done self-reflection on all these different social and political and systemic norms, and you've come to the realization that you disagree with all these things. You're going against the grain. And I think that's like very difficult for the majority of people to do. So saying it's the least we can do, like across the board for like everyone, I think is kind of, I don't know, not fair. Like, if it's the least we can do as like radical actors, maybe you've got a case there. Animal products are subsidized by the government, that's why they're cheaper. Yeah, that doesn't change the fact that they're cheaper though. Like, I know that's the reason. And I agree that we should abolish that. We should work towards ending animal subsidies. That's like a goal. That's something we should work towards. Just saying it isn't an excuse though. Like obviously that's the reason. We know that. And like saying that to someone like, hey, did you know that the reason that animal products are cheaper is because of government subsidies? They'll be like, oh, damn, that's interesting. It's still cheaper though. And I have a budget. You know, like, in most poor countries, meat is a privilege and they rely on plants. Yeah. That's true. Oh, Jesus Christ. In other news, so last year my parents, prepping for retiring, bought 5 cows because they want to live a simple farm life later on, and they offer me fresh milk every time. That's pretty gross. We have an animal party in the Netherlands, so do you guys have multi-party systems, or is it a two-party? It's weird and complicated. Like, we have like preferential voting, but like really it's a two-party system. I hope you're not trying to paint me as someone that doesn't care or advocate for the things you were saying, because I do. I just think that many more No, I know. Like I said before, like I'm not like disparaging you. I don't dislike you. I appreciate the conversation and everything. I'm not trying to attack you or whatever. I'm just trying to give like a really thorough explanation of where I'm coming from, because like this is not the norm in vegan circles whatsoever. They've really fully bought into like the liberal lie that like individual change can like affect the market in a radical way when it really can't. They don't, because they use capitalism as a cop-out. Also includes caring about animals. No, I do think that is a genuine problem. A lot of leftists who aren't vegan have absolutely bullshit excuses. A lot of them literally just turn into fascists when talking about animal ethics. I don't disagree with that whatsoever. But I do think the argument, like, you know, individual like action doesn't like equate to, you know, radical change. I don't think that's untrue. And I do think, like, you know, acting as like, you know, morally superior for simply engaging in an exploitative capitalist market slightly differently isn't really it's kind of a dick move, like and you're not really achieving anything by like acting like that. I'm not saying you are, and like, to be clear, I'm not saying you are, but a lot of people do. Especially like a lot of like leftist vegans, like go into r/vegan circle jerk, and it's the most insufferable shit. Again, I'll reiterate my point. I would much rather have 1,000 carnists advocating viciously for pro-animal liberation policies and direct action than I would 100 perfect vegans who don't do any action whatsoever. And, you know, maybe those 1,000 carnists are hypocritical or whatever. I don't care, because I care about like the outcomes and the change that actually happens. And again, I'm coming at this from someone who wants to see a fully vegan world. Like, that is my goal. That's what I want. But like, individual change very rarely comes from the individual. It comes from systems, from culture. The only reason that we live in a carnist world is because of culture, because of systems. So change the culture, change those systems, you change the individual. Doing like all of this like from the ground up, very, very difficult to do. Like on like a broad population basis, you know? That's why, you know, we didn't defeat like sexism in like with like radical feminism through just like teaching everyone, like all 8 billion people, how to be feminist. We had a handful of radicals push for systemic change, and that changes culture. That's how it always happens with all social justice movements. Obviously, we haven't defeated sexism. I'm being hyperbolic. But this is how change occurs. We don't all have the responsibility, for sure. It's a systemic issue, but we do have some. Well, the question there is, do individuals have responsibility for the systems they live under? And I don't think responsibility is a very good word, because it implies that lack of action on that front means you're doing a moral wrong. You're being irresponsible. And I don't think that's very fair. I think it is a good to push back against these systems, to act and live radically. I don't think it's anyone's responsibility for that. I don't know. That's just my perspective, I guess. Yeah, the pigs are responsible for their cages. Yeah. I don't think it's very fair to say like people like me are responsible for the systems that oppress me. Like because I'm not pushing back on them enough, you know? Like, I don't, yeah. You implied Joey Armstrong was bad for the vegan movement. What about his recent direct action documentary? And just yesterday, he was with other activists streaming it from a gas chamber. He even got arrested. No, that shit is based. That shit is good. And I like it when he does stuff like that. And he actually gets change done. He's had like slaughterhouses shut down. That's great stuff. That's good activist work. More of that, please. Less of the setting up a table with slaughterhouse footage in the background saying, why aren't you vegan yet? And having a bunch of 60-year-olds yell at him because, like, you're trying to take my job away. This doesn't get anything done. All it does is get you YouTube views, and I hate it. Pigs are not responsible for their cages because they were bred by humans to become food. No, Alex was being facetious there. I understand like the underlying point. I think Zeke's trying to say regarding Carbstrong that he thinks his message should be more about fighting large meat corps than showing how to be vegan. No, it's more about challenging like systemic oppression, like very direct, targeted campaigns against individual meat suppliers. Pretty effective activism. You see real change happen that way instead of just some nebulous, oh, profits have fallen 0.3% this quarter compared to the last, we're winning, guys. You see very direct change happen like that. It's small scale, admittedly, much larger scale than individuals going vegan, but it's still small scale compared to like the overarching broader systems at play. But like shit like that, he's been getting stuff done, and that's really inspiring to see. What would really start getting shit, like the ball really rolling, is reforms in government subsidization policies for the animal agriculture industries. Now that shit would really start to see like shit changing up, you know? That's the sort of stuff we should really be trying to like push for. Radical policy changes. Because like it or not, we live in electoral systems. We need to like utilize them to the best of our abilities while still acting outside of them for things like what Joey Carbstrong has been doing. And again, nothing with what I just said, those like actually effective activism routes have anything to do with like personal consumptive habits. Which again, it's good to like, you know, not engage with like exploitative systems as much as you can, but like there's a limit to it. Like even like being fully vegan, you can still consume from like Nestle, who employs slave labor, again, like child slave labor in developing countries. Like, is that much better than a lot of these other industries? I don't know. I don't want to like compare suffering like that. Like, I don't think it's very fair to victims on either side, but like, you can be fully vegan and buy from like places like Nestle. Like, there's no hypocrisy there. And again, like when you go down this route of like you are morally responsible for your consumptive practices, it leads to some really weird places. And I would rather just dismiss that entirely and focus more on what we can actually do to see real change. Nestle also doesn't think water is a human right. Yeah, like literally. There are many people that go vegan through such videos, though. I went vegan through Gary Yourofsky. I assume you did too. I didn't through him. I know of him. He's also a Zionist, which, fuck him, you know, like, again, what is with these right-wing vegans? Look, I don't think there's anything wrong with like, you know, like videos like, you know, advocating people go vegan and like giving like the ethical arguments. I think the ethical arguments need to be made. Absolutely. I think they're important. I think that's like people agreeing with the ethical arguments is how they become activists. My point is I want them to be activists more than I want them to be like consumptive vegans. Like if they are, that's great. Awesome. I want them to be activists more though. Like, if you can have one and not the other, I would much rather them be an activist, not a vegan, than the other way around. That's what I'm trying to say. That's really all I'm trying to say. I think you have to have the ability to go vegan. You have access to a plethora of plants in the supermarket, but don't because taste or capitalism, though. Then you're not taking personal responsibility. I think if my drink bottle fell, sorry. That scared me. I think if that is the case, and those are your reasons, I don't think you really, like, give a fuck. Like, and if you're not an activist, I don't think you actually give a fuck about animals. Because if you did, I think you would do something about it. Like, most people who are anti-racist don't engage in racism. No, this is such a not a good metaphor, though, because, like, you can not be racist, and it has nothing to do with consumption. You know, like you can also not be speciesist. But like if you want to like hold that to a standard, that includes consumption, that's not analogous. So I don't know. Like again, I think if you have the ability to go vegan, that's a good thing. That's a moral good, I guess. I don't even think I know. I think that. Oh man. I do take issue with the notion that just because you live in an electoral system that you should be partaking in it, i.e. if you live in certain states in the US, your vote essentially doesn't matter. Like at that point, it's only worth voting in locals. No, like it doesn't matter whether or not I show up to vote come November outside of local elections, because let's be real, Florida is going to be a red state this election no matter what. No, my point is like, look, I do like obviously like there is limitations to how, again, like an individual voting is like, well, okay, let me put it this way. Let's compare voting with your wallet. Voting with your wallet, there are trillions of dollars in the economy. Your individual dollars, very little influence. Because everyone has multiple votes. Blah blah blah. Economic shit. Voting, however, everyone has one vote. They do it every so often. It has more influence on change than voting with your wallet. I think that 100%. However, I do acknowledge electoral voting. Obviously, like as an individual, you know, you don't like. It's not like you voting or not is going to have huge impacts. But I still think, like again, I think you should go vegan. I think you should vote. Both things have very little tangible, immediate impact, but I think they're both good to do because they push for something better. I just don't think it's the be-all, end-all of political activism or engagement. Yes, Ron and I would be the only 2 blue votes in Florida. Yeah. You should still vote in the US no matter where you live because there's many local issues on ballots, even if the president is already a given in your state. Yeah. Like I'm sorry for arguing with you so much, Music Junkie. Like, I appreciate your input. I really do. And I appreciate you, like, having this discussion with me. I've just been, like, so burnt by, like, how ineffectual and how horrible our movement is that I want to see it be better. And I think focusing on other things is much better, you know? I think we're on the same. Yeah, no, I think we are. Like with most of the most, like, fervent disagreements in left-wing spaces, it's with people who agree on 99% of things. So, you know, it's just how it be. Moral of the story, be the Jack in your lives. Kill pigs. The human kind, not the animal kind. Fuck's sake. I have a love-hate relationship with everyone in chat. I love all of you. Because I haven't seen anyone that I dislike yet. There's a couple. I haven't seen any of them. You're all cool in my eyes. By Jack, you mean jump, spin, shoot? Yep. Cannabis is on the Florida state level ballot this year, and I do hope that does increase turnout. Abortion is as well, but I feel that's only going to help Florida's conservative turnout. Yeah. You guys are fucked. I'm sorry. I'm just hoping Trump dies before November. Or he goes bankrupt. Whatever. What's the E-kit in your background? Didn't notice it till now. It's a cheapo. It's not great. I need a new bass pedal because it's actively hampering my practice. Like, I'm trying to play like really fast punk rock, but like it's just so bad. So my mum said she'd buy me a new one, so that's nice. What is it? It's like a Artist Guitars brand, some weird Australian brand. I don't know. It was pretty cheap. I used to upload drum covers. Is that your main instrument? Oh, that's nice. No, yeah, drums is my main instrument. I also play guitar, but drums is it's a lot more fun for me, and I like performing on drums more. So yeah. Speaking of, oh yeah, I got my first gig with my new band next week, and it's my first ever paid gig. Pretty punk rock. Oh yeah, that's what we're playing. I don't think either Trump or Biden will have the health to make it to 2028. Yeah, probably. But like, one of them's got to get elected this year anyway, so. Tell me it's recorded. The gig? It probably will be, to be honest. Thank you, everyone. I'm pretty excited. Any footage to be found after? I'm sure something will be uploaded somewhere. And then I have another gig next month with my brother's band. My brother's band is actually pretty successful. They've been going hard at it for like a couple of years now. Is it a queer band? Well, I'm in it, and my friend is non-binary. So there's only two of us too. It's just drums and guitar. We don't have a bass player yet, and they don't really want to be singer, but it was just kind of what we got so far. Oh, this is not real punk. True. We've only got one original song so far. Get this, it's about eating the it's about eating the Kellogg CEO, and I'm pretty fucking happy with it. It's so funny. I'm subbed to both your channels. I don't know if there's more. I have a personal music channel. It's linked on my stream channel. Oh no, it's linked on my main channel as well. I haven't really used it much. BS back from work. I'm gonna go off. Bye bye. Okay, see ya, Alex. Thanks for stopping by. It's good to see you as always. Also, hello, Soitsu. You've missed several stun locks, and I'm out of water. Pretty sure had the Republicans nommed like anyone other than Trump, they would have beat Biden easily. I don't see moderates voting for Biden easily. Yeah, I'm glad Trump is the candidate and not Ron DeSantis, because like if he did like gain that spot, that would imply like a huge like supporter base, and that'd be fucking horrific. But he didn't make it, so whoa. Honestly, if Biden wasn't so fucking horrible with Palestine lately, I think this year's election kind of would have been in the bag. But you know, considering how much of the vote skews young for like left-leaning candidates, ugh. Ooh. I've been doing nothing but flippies on my jetboard for the last like hour. I don't even have 200 orbs yet. All right, I'm gonna get 200 orbs, and then I'm gonna bounce. In other news, how was TLF? I couldn't be fucked going for true 100%. I was like, I don't want to play this game anymore, so I just got the last 2 trophies and dipped. Think I'm gonna get going too. I'm gonna sub to your music channel. Hope to see some footage on there. Good luck in your gig. Thank you very much. I genuinely, I do appreciate the conversation. I hope there's no bad blood between us. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you, and I hope you have a good day. I missed the other 2 TLF streams, and when I got to this one, I already moved on. Oh yeah, rip. Well, the platinum doesn't require 100%, like anywhere close to it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go for it anyway. I got most of the way. I just couldn't be fucked getting the rest. And I kind of softened up on the game a bit. I kind of like it. It's not good. It's a bad game, but I kind of like it. Definitely the best playthrough I've had of it, like ever. but that's also because of like different reasons. Like because I was going for 100%, I was getting all of the weapon mods and the plane mods, so I was kind of overpowered, which made it very not frustrating. And frustration is the main emotion I feel when playing that game, because it's a very frustrating game to play. And this playthrough just wasn't very much. All right, see you later, Music Junkie. Thanks for stopping by. I will say though, like genuinely, that first third of Lost Frontier is really fucking dull. On every front, like gameplay and story is just like, oh, it's a slog. The rest of the game is, it's weird. A lot of people who never played 1 to 3 and only played TLF tended to like it. Yeah. And I can kind of see it, like a little bit, you know? Like for me, it's like, well, let's imagine this just wasn't tied to Jak in any way whatsoever. It's like, well, what is this? It's a weirdly overly ambitious PSP game with a lot of jank, and it's like, well, I love shit like that. I love weird, overly ambitious jank games, you know? So like if it wasn't tied to Jak whatsoever, I might have liked it like more, you know? And it's like the story is just really dumb and like goes weird places, and it's like, man, this is cool. You know, I love dumb shit. The problem is it's a Jak game. I feel like I've been yelling a bit and people are sleeping. Maybe I should tone it down a little bit. Wait, I already did this. No, I didn't. No, there is multiple. That's right. Yeah, this is the other one. Ooh, let's go. TLF isn't as bad as DMC2, but it also isn't as bad as Ratchet 2016. Yeah, like, look, like, Lost Frontier is not the worst game I've ever played. I think DMC2 is way worse. I think Ratchet 2016 is more egregious, and that might just be because it's, like, a much more high-quality game, like, because, like, it's much bigger budget, much more polished. Maybe that's why its quality being as bad as it is more egregious to me. I don't know. Lost Frontier is just stupid and weird. And, you know, like, there's a lot of reasons for that. No. Damn it. Not gonna lie, I was slick. Well, it didn't last. Oh, Yeshwan, you gotta promise me, dude. You need to go back and watch my, like this stream. You need to go back and watch what I had to say about the Jak 2 concept art, because, oh, it makes me so sad. It makes me so sad. No. Damn it. Ah. Fuck me. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ, that was awful. What I mean is that TLF isn't bad because it's a mess like DMC2, but it's also not bad because it's sanitized and directionless like 2016. Honestly, it's closer to a Jak 3 Ouya type bad. I get what you're going. I get what you're going for. But I also think Ouya and Jak 3 are much better. Like they're much more polished, much higher quality, a lot more fun. Just like on a baseline fun level, they are much more fun. They have more redeeming qualities. But I get what you're saying. By the way, Kevin Miller, or at least I hope he is in the Discord for that game. I really liked it, so go on. Oh, interesting. I hate Sly fans. I don't understand how you can be a fan of that series and like still advocate for a new game or like excuse Sly 4's terrible writing. I don't get it. I just don't understand it. I guess I already got that one. Back to the slums. To be fair, it's likely a byproduct of the fact that both of those two were based off of a pre-existing engine and framework, if anything. I think the problem with Lost Frontier, like the problem it stems from, is it like it didn't really have like a firm grasp on what the series was or like how to progress it more than anything else, rather than like we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We have 4 months to develop this game, or the this is a soulless, directionless, blah blah blah. Just absolutely corporate, whatever. Different games are bad for different reasons. I went to the wrong one. I do this every time. Hi Zeke, I had to leave a while ago. How was the Jak 2 concept art conversation? It was good. I wish my internet was stable during it, but it was good. And that was a while ago now, so. But welcome back. Sly fans' problem is that they wanted a Sly 4, which left them in a much worse spot than they could have ever been. Yeah, and the problem is them wanting a Sly 4. Like, you know, fucking Sly fans understand what makes their favorite game special, challenge, difficulty, impossible. Like, fuck me. Like, I just don't get it. Where am I going? This is that one there, okay. Can I be real with you all? I fucking hate talking about PS2 games. I hate talking about any game that's like nostalgic. Because what I like doing is having really in-depth conversations about art. It just so happens to be some of my favorite art is old games that are nostalgic. Because it's very hard to have deep critical conversations about these sorts of games and attract an audience that will reciprocate that sort of engagement and enthusiasm that I have. Because so many people are just like, this game was my childhood. It's like, cool, man. I don't care. Like, oh, I'm being so mean. I don't want to like discount like people's feelings towards this sort of stuff, and I appreciate people's engagement with like my work and people who appreciate my work and everything. It's just like, man, I don't care about relishing in nostalgia. I don't play these games over and over because I'm nostalgic for them. I play them because I think they're genuinely really well made and really good and have like deep things to say, and not just to like inherently like they have like themes or whatever, but like things to say about like art and the industry and the. That's why you should never get into an argument with a fan of PlayStation platformers, because it's always brain rot. Because it's always, I liked this game when I was 6, I used to play it with my brother. That's why it's the best one. It's like, cool, man. I'm not going to take that experience away from you. That's a really special memory. It's not relevant. Leave me alone. But Zeke, isn't it so cool the light jack is a thing? It is, yeah. It is cool. I wish it was better. Oh yeah, me and Dadey, we talked about the Mars stuff. I have ideas. Well, we came up with ideas. I also wrote a thing in the server about the core boss fight. I'd be interested to hear what you think about it, Yeshwan. Like that specifically, because I just came up with it earlier today. I just wish I was one of those cool kids on Twitter and YouTube who have like 1,000 subscribers but are putting out the absolute best fucking content on this platform by spending 2 hours straight like covering a weird obscure Japanese only PS1 game. I wish I was one of them people, but I'm not cool enough for that. I gotta talk about the popular games that released in English that no one talks in depth about. Except for like except for the Gaming Brit Show and BMask and Breadsword. Only 3 people ever have talked about these games well. A nostalgic game. How's life, everyone? What a cursed stream this has been. I mean, Jak is my favorite video game franchise, but I know that objectively it's not the best. Many games other do better than Jak and Aspen. No, like I get that. Like I'm not saying people are like blind to criticism of the games. What I'm saying is I wish people would like take a more in-depth critical like analysis, not just of like, oh, was this implemented good or bad? More so like, how was this implemented well? Like what was the result of this implementation and how did it serve the broader, like the bigger picture of what this game is, what it set out to do? What does this game say in a thematic story sense, in like a broader cultural sense? What does this game mean to me in that, outside of like the nostalgic memories I had when I played it when I was 6, what like experiences, like what impressions has it left on me as a creative, as someone who engages with the art, blah blah blah, like just more self-reflective, deeper like videos, you know, like just deeper engagement as a whole. That's what I want to see. Not just of like Jak, but like on the platform as a whole. So much of YouTube content is just like slop. It's only a cursed stream when I arrive. Hi Jess. No, it's been a cursed stream, trust me. Well, cursed as in, it's been contentious, I'll say. But not in a negative way. It's been fine. It's fine. the idea of using Dark Jak to force down, core down can work, but I feel like we all need to be on the same page of what actually makes a good boss fight in this series, because nobody else does. I mean, sure, I'm just trying... I just don't want to change core's fight too fundamentally. I am looking for a band-aid solution here. So... That's... And it's like... It's a topic I've, like, been thinking of... I haven't had a single idea on how to address it at all in months, and this has been my first idea. So let's build on it from here, I guess. You know. Like again, like I've said this a few times. Like Jak's combat system can't really work in a vacuum. What I think makes it special is how it intermingles with other mechanics, like driving here. And also like in the context of level design. So boss fights are a really hard thing for this game's combat system to like get right, I think. Genuine question, do you even like the fundamental gameplay during core's fight? I like the third phase when like it's like a one-on-one with him. I think that's really good. Like that back and forth you have with him, you know, like mechanically it's, you know, not super in depth, but I think it's good. Is it true though? I'm gonna remake Jak 2? We're remaking Jak 3. Get with the times. I like to consider Hotline in Miami a game with a solid community that, besides being a 10-year-old indie, has even now new YouTubers that got decent views because the community still crave content. Yeah, and it's like I want that content to be like thoughtful, you know, not just like here's a game I really like. I played it a lot when I was a kid. I'm gonna make a video about it. That's fine, you know. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just like I want to see like, you know, the really thoughtful, introspective sort of content covering these sorts of games, you know. And it's something I don't think we get very often. Semi-related, I spent a little bit of time working on the script for my new video yesterday. I want to have it out before August. That's my unofficial deadline, I guess. Get in the fucking... Jesus. I had Deity go over my first draft the other day. He seems to dig it, so... I'm excited to put that out. It's gonna be good. It's just a matter of refining and doing the actual writing work, which I'm not a very good writer, so. But this will be like my first project where I'm taking the writing itself like quite seriously. And not just like a what I have to say perspective, like a game design analysis perspective, but like the individual words and how I string them together. Like I want this to be good. Give me the orbs. Orbs. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Companies making endless sequels is lazy and boring. If Nintendo actually stretched their creative muscles instead of releasing Zelda and Mario, we'd get more weird, dope games like Splatoon. People just don't like seeing their childhood become irrelevant, but IMO, it's better than endless sequels or God forbid a Life Force scenario. Yeah. I mean, I think there's like two ways to go about it. I think what Nintendo does is like, they don't really rest on, well, it's 50-50. Like, they do kind of rest on their laurels when it comes to like conceptual stuff and mechanic stuff. But sometimes, you know, we do get like genuinely innovative stuff. Like with like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Like Nintendo like can innovate. And I think like just like slapping innovation on like a known brand isn't like an inherently bad thing. I guess it depends what like you prioritize or prefer. I kind of prefer like I I really value like storytelling in video games. Nintendo's never really been big on that, so I think they get a pass with like twisting their IP in different ways to suit different needs because their IP are so inherently malleable. I don't think that's really a bad thing. But when it comes to more story-driven IP like Jack Sly or Ratchet or whatever, then yeah, I think it's very much a case of do something fucking new for a change, you know? And again, like, oh man, I just hate people and how like they can't handle like the games why do you do this to me? They can't handle the games they like becoming like irrelevant or like not having new entries constantly. Like, who cares? Like, like, man, you look at like all of like the films considered the greatest of all time. And it's like, you know, I'm doing a film course right now, so we're taking a very broad overview of the history of film as like an introduction to this like this landscape of artistic expression. It's like, man, I really wish they'd remake or make a sequel to Battleship Potemkin. You know, the 1927 silent film, document like based on a true story about like a revolution in Russia in pre-Soviet Russia, you know? Oh man, I wish they'd remake that or make a sequel to that. You know, like, I wish they'd make a sequel to The Third Man. That was a really good movie. I want more of it. Can we not just look at video games as what they are, which is art and artistic expression? Not everything has to be a brand. You know, like if we're not getting new sequels, who cares? The things exist. They exist in the canon. Analyze them for what they are. Enjoy them for what they are. Ugh. If you really love it, man, take that as an inspiration. Be your own artist. Create a work inspired by it, or be inspired by it, and use that inspiration in your everyday life, or artistically. I don't know. No one treats video games as art, and that's the fundamental problem. Man, I wish someone would make a sequel to Hendrix's Electric Ladyland. We need a sequel to it. I want more of it. Doesn't matter that the original creator died. Ugh. Oh man, I gotta catch up with chat. I want to mention how cool it'd be if the attack from core creates Dark Eco that Jack can pick up. So getting Dark Jack is more tied to core himself instead of that could be interesting, I suppose. Like his like beam shot, possibly. We should make it so you fight Praxis like 6 times in the first act. Yeah, true. I don't think it's an inherent problem that Mario and Zelda are endlessly repeating, because for every new Super Mario Bros. You get a Mario Galaxy. Yeah, like I said, like the inherent malleability of Nintendo's IP, I don't think is a bad thing, because, you know, you can do whatever you want with them. And there's not an issue when it comes to continuity or story, because Nintendo games aren't really about that. I think that's fine. It's different, you know? I like diversity in art. I have a question regarding the remake of Jak 3. I know you're not developing it yet, but do you think that with open goal the game can be changed so much? I mean, mechanics, scenes. I mean, I am not a programmer, and I don't know the limitations of the engine, but I think, from my understanding, I think with enough like work and know-how, you can kind of do anything with it if you're like adhering to Jack's sort of like gameplay of what's like there. I don't really know. I'm hoping that all that we want to do is possible. We are keeping our scope relatively realistic. I don't think we're doing anything completely wildly unrealistic, but, you know. Just seems like a psychology thing, people wanting more of what they love. Yeah, because they see it. They see video games as products. Give me more of the product. It's the brand I like. I want more of that brand. It's not art. I don't care about artistic integrity. I just want more product. games as brands first and art as second stock. Yeah, and that's legitimately how the majority of people see it. So that's why we have so many issues that we do, including, by the way, the fact that video game preservation is such an uphill battle at the moment because, like, you know, there's no like official artistic institutions about this sort of stuff, and it's like it's not legitimized in the broader public by policymakers that like this is like a valuable cultural thing that deserves like preservation, like it is with film and stuff like that. So, making a lot of spelling grammatical errors, must be getting tired, yeah. This is the last side mission I'm doing, and then I might call it because that's when I'll have 200 orbs. Oh. Freedom depends on how much access you have to the code. Since the games are getting decompiled, I would assume that allows for a ton of freedom when it comes to the mods. Well, yeah, that's my assumption too. But like again, like I think it depends on the limitations of the engine and the know-how of the people involved. You know. I've got unlimited ammo, whatever. Alright, that doesn't do any damage. Okay, everything does too. Oh wow, kicking it is more effective. This game with health bars is cursed. I mean, I don't typically play with them on. I think it's just been being turned on by default for some reason, but... Jack's damage values make 0 sense? Yeah, kinda. Wait, where's the other one? Oh. I mean, I guess I get this one now. It's right there. Fucking... Fucking... This side mission is straight up a Jak 3 mission, right? Well, it's straight up a Jak 2 mission. Which, in Jak 3 is straight up a Jak 2 mission. What's doing the occasional 4 damage? Ooh, I didn't see it. Oh no, I think it was when I was kicking a guard that was in it. I don't know. Yeah, the 4 is hitting the guard. So it's interesting. This game has some sort of like armor system, I guess. Like some enemies take less damage, you know. Okay, cool. 200 orbs. Whoa. So I now have the Mega Scrapbook. Whoa, what's this? Oh no. Do I have to unlock everything in hero mode as well? That's for another day, I guess. Okay, I'm quite tired. 4 hours. Whoa, boy. I'm gonna get going. I saw a string of like 3 instances of 4 damage before. I think, yeah, there was a few guards I had caught in the first 2. Oh. Time to see those concept arts in lower quality. Hell yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. This stream has been fun. Yashwan, please watch the concept art breakdown I did before. I think it's interesting. And it'll make you sad too. Alright, have fun. Yeah, sure. Have fun, everyone. Bye-bye.